today on Dr. Phil. They have an open marriage.
You say he suggested it.
He absolutely suggested it.
You say she suggested it.
It was her idea.
He forced me to get into a chat room.
There's the truth, and then there's a lie.
Now she has a boyfriend.
Why did you say, oh, well, okay, this seems like a great deal to get involved in?
I'm a man.
So you said, hell, she's married, no pressure. I think an open marriage is totally asinine. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Okay, I need your opinion. What do you all think of these earrings? Pretty spiffy, right? Would you still want them if I told you that your boyfriend had to get your husband's permission first before giving them to you? Okay, who wants this diamond ring as a gift? Would you still accept this ring if this was from your husband as an apology for, well, arguing with you? Big time. These scenarios really happened to one of my guests today. Betty, who says her husband also gave her this. And later, she says he gave her this. These two men, the husband and the boyfriend, are fighting over one woman who says she's had enough of the abuse and the drama. Her husband says he does not want to let the marriage go, but she has one foot out the door, and you can imagine why. Take a look.
After 29 years of marriage, I have left my husband and the father of my 9 children. I finally got the guts to say, I've had enough, and I want somebody that can treat me like a queen. About 9 years into my marriage, Philip started physically abusing me.
I admit it, I have some anger issues. Betty, she knows how to push my buttons. She tries to make me hit her.
He's blacked both of my eyes. I've had bruises on both arms, both shoulders. I've had bruises on my legs.
One time I hit her so hard it knocked her out, gave her a black eye, and she was laying there on the side of the road.
Things have gotten physical at least 75 times.
Well, you would think things would just end there. But Philip and Betty then decided to work on their marriage in a different way.
A few years ago, Betty and I were kind of in a slump in the marriage.
Philip suggested that we have an open marriage. I was absolutely terrified. I had no desire whatsoever.
Having an open marriage was Betty's idea. Having an open marriage was not my cup of tea. I felt like if she was going to see other people, then I should be allowed to see other people too. The rules were that we were allowed to be sexual with other partners, but any kind of a relationship was totally off limits.
Over the last 5 years, I have probably been with 15 different men, and Philip has probably been with 10 different women. About 1.5 years ago, I met Kevin on social media. Kevin and I hit it off right away. First time I ever laid eyes on him, I instantly knew that he was hot and sexy and a gentleman. Soon after I met Kevin, I definitely started having real feelings for Kevin.
Initially, Kevin and I respected each other. We exchanged messages on social media. I didn't have a problem with Betty spending time with Kevin in the beginning because it was supposed to be just sexual, but turned out they were spending time together in dates and meeting his family. When I realized that Kevin and Betty were in a relationship, I was angry. A few months ago, I asked my wife out on a date. I was trying to rekindle things.
We got into a huge argument. It got very physical, and Philip broke my wrist. 3 months ago, I packed my bag, I moved out, filed for divorce, and we have our final hearing in just a few months.
Betty needs to give me a chance. I'll let Betty. She's my whole universe. Can't imagine life without her.
Okay, now, you two have been married how long?
Almost 29 years.
29 years. And you have how many children?
9 children.
9 children. 29 years, 9 children. And there's some debate over who suggested open marriage and when it was suggested. You say he suggested it.
He absolutely suggested it.
But you say she suggested it.
It was her idea. She already had the meeting set up with the guy.
And how did that meeting get set up with the guy?
You were talking to him on social media.
Because you made me get into a chat room. He forced me to get into a chat room.
The chat room was 15 years prior.
All right, let me stop here because things can change today. I can help you guys, but you know it requires you to be honest.
Yes, sir.
And Robin always says there aren't versions of the truth. There's the truth, and then there's a lie. Who's telling the truth?
I'm telling the truth.
I'm telling the truth.
Well, really, what's the point? What's the point in going forward here?
I can back up pretty much everything I've said.
Well, let's set that aside for a minute. Are you beating on this woman?
I have hit her, yes, sir.
You've hit her. She says you've hit her, she guesses, 75 times.
That's not true.
That is the absolute truth.
That is not true.
I can guarantee you it is at least 75 times.
What would your
more.
version be?
At most, probably 7 or 8 times over all the years.
You are
7 or 8
crazy.
times. According to Betty, you have given her a black eye in 2016. You bruised her shoulder in 2016. We have pictures. You bruised her neck and cut her face in 2017. Picture of all those. You broke her wrist May 18, 2019. This is the hospital report of Betty, and it says fractured wrist, navicular suspected, which is the little bone. It's the one that usually breaks. It's very tender over the navicular bone. That was broken, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's 4 of the 7 or 8 that you've mentioned right there.
Yes.
And your attitude about it, you said, I didn't walk away, Philip. I just couldn't handle any more right now. Do you have any clue how badly my wrist hurts? I keep praying that it will just go away, but it hurts like crazy. The man that loves me broke my wrist. And then there was a little emoji face there, sad. You said, yes, Betty, I get that I broke your wrist. You have beat that dead horse. I cannot unbreak it no more than you can undo the things done to me. You don't sound very remorseful there. It's like, come on, yeah, I broke your wrist, get over it.
That's a lot of text messages, a lot of apologies later.
Oh, I've got the string.
Yeah. And I am very remorseful.
So were you hit again after the wrist?
Not after the wrist. That's when I walked away.
He responded to that poorly because you sent this text. You want to play hardball? When I was trying to be kind, we can play hardball. You said, you're trying to be kind is how I ended up with a broken hand. And you said, you won't like hardball. Trust me, you will wish you had talked to me when I was trying. Enjoy your screwed up life. 2 can play your game. What do you mean when you say, okay, we're going to play hardball and you ain't going to like it?
I'll stop paying your bills. I'll stop paying your stuff.
Would it be fair to say that the intent of that was management by intimidation? You were trying to back her off of her position?
That was not my thoughts.
That's how it come across.
It may have been, and if it come across that way, I'm sorry. I was trying my best to talk to her and get her to talk to me, and let's work things out.
Well, I've got some hard questions for Betty as well, but her boyfriend Kevin is here. He's been listening backstage. We're going to find out why he says he is the kinder partner when compared to her husband. And I'm going to discuss this open marriage concept, whoever brought it up. We'll be right back.
At first, Philip didn't have any difficulties with my being with Betty. Once Philip found out that Betty and I were actually in a loving relationship, he physically attacked me. He began striking me about the head, hitting me a few times. That evening, there was a handgun in the house.
I told him if he racked the gun, that he better use it, shoot to kill, because if he didn't, I was going to kill him with it.
And later, I think an open marriage is totally asinine. I'm curious why you were attracted to the situation.
When it comes to my wife and Betty's boyfriend, Kevin, I feel like he's just a homewrecker.
Philip blames Kevin for me wanting the divorce. One time, Kevin was visiting me, and Philip saw Kevin's car.
She told me that he was not there. I was so mad that I took out a knife and I cut 2 of his tires.
Kevin and Philip absolutely do not get along.
What Kevin needs to know is he's destroyed a family. I feel like Kevin needs to leave. He needs to back off and be a man.
I'm not sure what'll happen when Kevin and Philip have to sit across from each other at Dr. Phil. I'm terrified.
Well, I can tell you what's going to happen when Kevin and Philip sit across from each other. We're going to have an adult conversation, and we're going to talk about these things like adults, because we're not going to go there. So you can forget about that. That's not going to happen. Not on my watch, not on this stage, right?
Correct.
Philip and Betty say they began to see other people while married as a way to spice up their sex life. But then their plan backfired when Betty developed deeper feelings for her current boyfriend, Kevin.
About 1.5 years ago, I met Betty for the first time. When I saw Betty, I thought there were instant sparks.
Kevin is amazing.
When Betty and I first met, she was very crystal clear that she was married to Philip still and that they did have an open relationship. Never been this happy with a woman, never been more in love. I refer to Betty all the time as Kitten, or my sweet kitten. At first, Philip didn't have any difficulties with my being with Betty. I even bought Betty a beautiful pair of earrings. I asked Philip if I could do this with his permission. Philip was perfectly fine with it. Once Philip found out that Betty and I were actually in a loving relationship, I became very aware of Philip's abusive ways. He physically attacked me. What Philip did was he pushed his way past Betty and began striking me about the head, hitting me a few times.
I was furious. I was beyond angry.
That evening there was a handgun in the house, so I simply showed it to him. I never pointed the gun at Philip.
Betty told him 3 times to shoot me.
No.
I told him if he racked the gun, that he better use it, shoot to kill, because if he didn't, I was going to kill him with it.
Once the divorce is finalized, we will set a wedding date. I'm not going anywhere, and she's not going to let me, is what she tells me.
Okay, you've been listening backstage, right?
Yes, sir.
And Betty was saying she's terrified about what's going to happen when you guys are across from each other. And I said, what's going to happen is nothing. We're going to have an adult conversation, right?
Yes, sir.
We're agreed on
Indeed.
that?
Absolutely.
You're agreed on that? That's not what we do. We're just going to have a conversation here. And thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
And being here. And thank you for coming as well. I mean, none of y'all had to be here, and you're willing to do this, and I hope we can make some strides here. Kevin, what made you believe that Betty's husband was okay with you dating his wife?
Betty conveyed to me that it would be okay for us to see each other, that she was in fact married, and that he was open to her having another man in her life.
And
it was her idea to start the open marriage, and it was her going with other guys before I ever, and that's the truth, and you know it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Just like you saying that I told Kevin to shoot you 3 different times.
You did.
I had you pushed out the door, and I was screaming at you, Philip, for the sake of our children, leave,
That's
for the sake
true.
of our children.
That's not true.
Did she tell you to shoot him?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Were you thinking about shooting him?
I didn't want to. If it had come to it, to defend myself, to defend my life, to defend Betty, absolutely.
There's no place for a gun here.
I agree.
And there's no place for you pummeling him or her. You have a right to defend your home, but let's take the guns out of this equation here, because you don't know what's going to happen if you do shoot him. You have no idea how that's going to play.
I certainly know. I understand the ramifications.
you could spend a lot of time trying to explain that, and when you, I've spent a lot of my professional career as a trial scientist and being in front of juries, and I could make it real hard for you.
Indeed.
You don't want to do that. You want to get that out of there and not have that be part of this. Now, you said for the sake of all of us and our children, just leave. You have 9 children? 4 of them are underage, right?
4 of them are underage.
Okay.
The 4 boys.
But you're not raising them.
Nope.
No, sir, not at this point.
She don't even hardly see them. About once a week, maybe she'll see them an hour.
Okay.
Philip, you do not even want to go there because
It's fact.
you live out there on the property
I
in
do.
a shed where they live.
I do.
And they have come and asked you to shoot guns with them, and you are too busy. Got to take a bath.
I've
Got to
spent
do.
plenty of time with them.
Oh, now that you knew that you were coming on the Dr. Phil show, all of a sudden he decides to take them to the movies. First time in.
I've only been out there, Betty, about 2 weeks.
Okay, hold
We've had
on.
the boys for many years.
Why do you not have custody of your children?
We do not have cut.
She
Philip,
didn't want the kids.
he's
when
asking
we
me
were
a
together.
question. He's not asking you. He's asking me. So you need to let me answer.
Yeah, why don't you?
We don't have custody of the children right now.
Not we,
Or
you.
me, because of all of the domestic violence. And when he broke my wrist, I wanted to remove my children from that situation before Child Protective Services or whatever come in and said, hey, they are in a very abusive situation. Not that they were abused, but I did not want them looking at the abuse that I've suffered. One of my other daughters asked us for custody.
I don't understand why these children's mother is not with them.
I am not with them right now because I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment. They stay out with my mother and my other daughter, which he lives on my mother's property in a shed right now. He does not miss a chance to jab at me, to try and...
So it's not convenient for you.
That's not true.
It's not that it's not convenient. It's just impossible right
That's
this
not
minute.
But see, you could
And I
have.
work-
Betty and Philip's children are backstage. We'll hear why
Not
they
all
want their
mine.
parents to get a divorce. Not the 4 young ones. 2 of the grown ones. We'll be right back.
To say the least, my parents' marriage is very toxic. When I think about the whole open marriage concept, I'm disgusted.
I don't feel like my parents are very interested in being parents.
And later,
I'm thrilled to have Betty in my life. I don't dwell on her past.
But she's been back to my house since y'all been together and had sex with me twice.
3 years ago, Philip and I moved out of the home that we had lived in for 25 years.
Betty and I moved about 10 miles away together, just the 2 of us, to an apartment.
My husband and I wanted our freedom.
We were experimenting in our relationship, and we felt like it was not the healthiest thing to have around the smaller children. We still had 4 young children living at home.
Currently, the 3rd daughter had custody of the children.
I feel like that was a smart thing to do because of the arguing and the things that were going on at home between Betty and I.
I'm very close with my children. That it's best for them not to live with me at the moment because they need more stability. And right now, things just are too crazy in my life.
we're back with Betty and her husband, Philip, and her current boyfriend, Kevin. And you heard me right. I'm back with Betty and her husband and her boyfriend. Even though Betty says she's very sure of her relationship with Kevin, for some reason, he has never met her daughters, Victoria or Liz.
To say the least, my parents' marriage is very toxic. The best way to describe it is almost like fire and gasoline. They kind of just ignite each other, and then from there, things blow up in flames.
My parents' relationship is dysfunctional and quite confusing. One day they're filing for divorce, and the next day they're having date night.
I do know about my dad's abuse personally. My dad has been physical with me in the past. One time when I was 17, he actually pulled me out of the church by my hair. I had my hair in a ponytail. He took my hair around his left hand and then took his right hand and hit me about 3 times at my left ear, to the point of almost being unconscious. To this day, I actually do have vertigo and permanent damage to my eardrum. When it comes to my mom, she definitely does manipulate the truth.
My mom can be very needy and self-centered.
And she does do a lot of denying and lying when she's confronted about things. When I think about the whole open marriage concept, I'm disgusted by it.
The most difficult part about this is that it does affect our entire family. I don't feel like my parents are very interested in being parents.
My sister and I are definitely more of the adults. They act like they are teenagers.
My mom and dad have lost control of their lives.
Now, you two have never met Kevin before, right?
No, sir.
And did you have any desire to meet Kevin?
Not at all.
Tell me what your feelings are about that.
My feelings, for one thing, is A, that it doesn't matter to me what kind of person you are. This is already a complicated enough situation that bringing somebody else in this is not healthy.
My mom doesn't know how to be her own person. She doesn't know who she is. And I feel like just going from relationship to relationship is not going to help her at all. She needs actual help, and she's not going to find that through a man.
Maybe, maybe not.
Let me ask you. I'm just curious about this, and maybe you can shed some light on it. Because I think an open marriage is totally asinine. I just think it doesn't work. It's not really a marriage. I think it's just what 2 hedonistic people say when they want to go do what they want to go do and not be married, not be accountable, not deal with reality. I think it's just doesn't work, never works. I've never seen it work. I've been doing this for 45 years. I've never seen it work one time. Not one time in 45 years I've ever seen it work. I'm curious why you were attracted to the situation. You find out early on that she's married, but in an open marriage. Mm-hmm. Why at that point did you say, oh, well, okay, this seems like a great deal to get involved in?
The idea of being able to consensually meet with a beautiful woman and enjoy each other with, at the time, no commitment was appealing to me. I'm a man.
Okay, so you said, hell, she's married, no pressure.
Well,
No commitment.
I was told that it was okay.
Did you never think about the fact that there are kids involved?
I did not take that into consideration.
So are you in love with her now?
Absolutely.
So you want to marry her now?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Divorced Betty with 9 kids, you want to marry her?
That's what she's conveyed to me as her desire, and I agree with it completely.
Can I ask this, though? I mean, if you do love my mother so much, can you not see that this would not be a healthy situation, even if it was just her involved? Even if it was just no kids involved, if it was just her? If you loved her, you should be able to see that it's not healthy to go from 29 years of marriage right into another one with no cool down, no thought. If you loved her.
He's never held a marriage to start with, so.
I have been married.
Yeah, for how long?
You know what?
7 years.
Yeah.
7
7
years.
years.
What he always does is he always deflects, and he never misses
just
an
stated the fact.
opportunity
He's
to
never
jab.
been able to hold
but
a
he
marriage.
also has never
Y'all
been a
both
woman
deflect.
either.
Y'all both deflect.
So he's got that.
I view Betty's decision to embrace me on a number of levels as an escape from a very volatile situation. And no, very honestly, the effects, the ramifications of the other children did not cross my mind. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. I would say that it's a matter of my being consumed with unbelievable, genuine affection. Put the whole physical aspect out of the picture. Someone who speaks very highly of me, someone who appreciates me, someone who overly affectionate. That Betty and I, and the time that we've been together, have never had one cross word. We've never had an argument. She's always had a smile on her face. She has never done anything to cause
As
me...
a person who's been married 11 years, that's not a real relationship.
Not at all.
Maybe it's the beginning of a real relationship.
No, it's not.
But
Well,
that
Betty and
fades
Philip's
away.
divorce, the hearing is coming up, and it's rolling down the tracks real quick. It's coming up in a matter of weeks. So what are they going to do? I mean, how do they continue to behave as parents? You're quite right. This impacts a lot more people than just the two of them. And I've got some questions about the open marriage aspects of this. We'll be right back.
You absolutely did. Do not lie to me about that.
You're the one defending all the lies.
I have listened to you lie. You are not telling the truth. You absolutely did do that.
I would say that my parents are very hypocritical. My siblings and I were all raised as very conservative Christians.
We were told no drinking, no smoking, no drugs.
We were never allowed to cut our hair. You weren't allowed to wear nail polish. You could never be alone with somebody of the opposite gender.
My parents were the ones that insisted that we live by the Bible.
The whole time my parents were living this double life. It's always a do as I say, not as I do.
I feel like the whole thing sends me very mixed messages. It's certainly not the way I was raised.
Now, you're 27 and 22, so you've been around this a long time.
Yes, sir. Yes.
When did you find out that they had what they declared an open marriage?
It was well after the fact. We only found out from finding little clues here and there, and when we would ask, it was always denied.
So why did y'all deny it?
It was embarrassing for me.
It was embarrassing for me, but don't act like Philip. Philip wants to act like it was my idea, and and yes, it was hypocritical. But whenever we first started doing it, I was concerned, and Philip took me through the Bible and showed me an instance where Abraham and Sarah went into a city, and Abraham offered Sarah to the king, and he said, "Look, it was even done in biblical times,"
No,
and that's it may not be true, but that's what Daddy did.
No.
You absolutely did.
No,
Do not
Betty.
lie to me about that.
You're the one defending all the lies.
I have listened to you lie, and you make up stuff on me this entire time.
You're the
and
one
this
lying.
is one time I finally have a say, and I'm going to stand up and say, you are lying. You are not telling the truth. You absolutely did do that.
Did you get the Bible and show?
I did not.
You are a liar.
I did not.
You are a liar.
Both of you have functioned under the understanding of an open marriage.
Whether it was his fault or my fault, the fact is I am a grown adult,
Dr.
and
Phil.
I went with it.
And the fact is you went and cheated on me twice long before any open marriage stuff was ever done.
This is how it goes when we try to help them.
Yeah, okay. You've been with how many?
Probably 15.
Okay,
It's more than that.
and so
More than that.
so
it is
you're
well more than that.
what?
It's
It is
more
well
than that.
more than 15.
Okay, well,
I don't think count
25,
matters.
30, 40, 50, I don't know, but it doesn't
According
matter.
to him, it's probably 500.
Okay,
I don't think
well,
it matters.
So it doesn't matter, but so you got the lottery ticket out of all the ones.
Apparently, yeah.
out of all the ones, she hit upon you. How you feel about that?
Well, the short answer is I'm thrilled to have Betty in my life. I don't dwell on her past.
Yeah, okay.
She's been back to my house since y'all been together and had sex with me twice.
Good for you.
Yeah. Don't know who else she's had sex with, but she's had sex with me twice.
Y'all have to understand that makes a mockery of
It does.
marriage.
It
Yes,
does.
sir. You know what, Philip? You have sat here and you have acted like you have been a perfect saint. Just like you
I have
saying that
not.
you only hit
I have
or
not.
slapped me
All
7 to
he
9
was
times.
agreeing. Like
I
literally
have
all
not.
he did
No,
was
you
say,
I did hear him say that, and I don't think that's fully
admit
accurate.
that I've
He's
been
We're going to
totally
take a
wrong.
closer look at some of these abuse allegations, including his own daughter's claims, when we come back, because I want to get down to some things that I think are both predictive and prescriptive when we return.
did hit me in the side of my head. I was almost unconscious.
What is wrong with you people?
And my mom said I deserved it.
These are criminal acts.
From my point of view, my husband and I will absolutely be divorced in a few months.
I hope that we could possibly repair the relationship and become a whole family again. I would love nothing more than to spend the rest of my life with her.
After my divorce is final, my plan is to marry Kevin. If I go through with the divorce, I fear that Philip might snap.
Some of the things you've said to us, I took note of. One of the things you said is, I have a temper at times when Betty pushes my buttons. I've gotten angry at times to the point of hitting her. Betty will be right up in my face and she will not stop. It is as if she is trying to make me hit her. I never hit her until 15 years into the marriage. It was after she cheated. The cheating caused the anger. I am not an angry person, and anyone will tell you that. I'm the easiest person to get along with, but sometimes she pushes my buttons.
I have an anger issue.
But everything
she's not
you're
causing my anger issue.
You're attributing it to her. If she just wouldn't push your buttons, if she wouldn't make you angry, if she wouldn't trigger this in you, then you wouldn't hit her.
No, that's all out of context.
Well, put it in context for me then.
I have anger, and I do, but I have tried to get her to let me leave. In fact, the night that, when her wrist was broken, we had gotten in an argument. There was no physical contact. I ended up leaving the house.
No, y'all weren't there. Y'all don't know.
No, let him speak.
Yeah. I went to a parking lot, and I called her, trying to talk to her on the phone, and she asked me where I was at, and I told her. I said, just talk to me. Let's talk this out. And she would hang up on me, and she would hang up on me. And it got to the point that when I would call her, she would say, have you turned around to come back yet? I said, no. And she'd hang up. I sat there for 3 hours.
Point is, he's trying to say it was my fault. He messaged me 6 o'clock Saturday morning. I didn't answer because I was asleep. He got mad, come in the room, had my hand like this, and he pummeled me upside the head.
That's not
Boom.
true.
That's the short answer.
That is
Okay, what
not
did you
true.
want to say? This is absurd.
I just want to say that even though nothing excuses his actions, at the end of the day, he still chose to go back, even though she's calling. But she does push him to stay when it's not safe for him to stay.
Victoria, you made some statements that I thought were interesting. You said, I've taken the brunt of my dad's fist on probably 6 occasions. The first time he hit me, I was talking about a boy while he was driving. He turned around and hit me across my face. He said he didn't mean to, but he lost his temper. The second time was in May 2014. I was having trouble learning a song on the piano. He grabbed me by the hair, took me off the piano seat and outside. He asked me to choose between him and my boyfriend because he was causing me to be rebellious. Yes. After 3 to 4 punches to the side of the head, I was nearly unconscious until my sister Priscilla, who's now raising your children, stepped in to help me. I have vertigo because he damaged my inner eardrum so badly.
Yes.
True?
That's true. Yes.
Unfortunately, that's true.
And he did hit me in the side of my head 3 to 4 times. I was almost unconscious.
What is wrong with you people? What?
And my mom said I deserved it.
These are criminal acts.
Yes. I was wrong, and there's a lot that I still got to work on. There's a lot that I still got to.
Yeah. Is this a marriage that should be saved? Is it a marriage that should be over? I'm going to give my very clear opinion right after the break. This family is so dysfunctional as to be criminal. And you're quite right. If those children were not out of this home, this relationship already, I would be reporting this to the Department of Child and Family Services today to have the children removed and the two of you prosecuted criminally. Because what you're doing is violation of several felonies, in my opinion, beyond neglect. And you're not stupid people. You are trying to have your cake and eat it too. You're trying to maintain some semblance of adherence to these vows you made, this contract before God, and still go out and do what you want to do. That's absurd. If you were to get back into this marriage in the state of mind you are, you would wind up in the penitentiary because your anger is not under control. It is seething just below the surface. Anytime somebody challenges you or tells you what you don't want to hear, it's just seething. And you're going to act on it, and when you get violent, you're going to get reported, and you're going to wind up going to jail. And if you run off and marry her, you just, if you had a choice to do that or put your head in the car door and slam it, I'd put my head in the car door and slam it.
Okay.
Because she's as angry as he is.
Yes.
She is as angry as he is. She is manipulative as he is. She has as much unfinished emotional business as he does. And you are going to pay for the sins of those who came before you. And trust me, you haven't had a fight yet. Well,
gird my loins.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming, and hell's coming with it. Mm-hmm. You don't want to get in that situation, in my opinion. You have a lot of work to do, and a lot of the anger you're feeling, you probably have a lot of reasons for. You probably have a lot of good reasons for the resentment. But, you know, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. And you need to really focus on your relationship with yourself first. The most important role model in any child's life is the same-sex parent. Yeah. And you have daughters in this family. You have sons in this family. You two need to step back and take a look and say, you know what? I need to handle the responsibilities I have first before I take on more. This deal is over, and you need to accept that it's over, and you need to move on. Your own children, out of the mouths of babes, are telling you it's over. Let it go, right?
For our sake, please.
And I will get you some help with this because you need it. I'm going to get you an individual therapist. I'm going to get you a therapist. Both of you need it, so you can then co-parent and be there for these children. I also want to have help for these girls, because you've been punched in the head 3 or 4 times to the point that you're got vertigo problems and hearing problems, and you've been through all this. I don't want to leave these girls without some guidance and some help either, so I'm arranging help for both of these girls as well. I want to thank all of my guests today. Don't forget to check me out on any number of my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and oh, by the way, take a look at what one fan, Casey, wrote to me just the other day. She said, at Dr. Phil, this morning, my little cousin looked at my phone and saw this screensaver of you. Let's not ask questions. And she thought it was Abraham Lincoln. Now, here's a picture of Abe Lincoln.
Much more hair.
I guess we're about the same age, so it's not totally random. That's all I can say. So, you never know what you're going to find. That's all for today. We'll see you next time.
All new today.
Texas is about to kill somebody who didn't commit that murder.
Dr. Phil's exclusive interview from Death Row continues.
Did you murder Stacey Stites?
No, I absolutely did not.
Do you know who did?
What happened to Stacey?
This is a female engaged to a cop, a white cop.
Jimmy Finnell was initially the key suspect in this case.
He's an absolute monster.
Did he ever have an inkling that you were in a relationship with her?
He told me, "You gonna pay?"
So it was a clear threat.
I took it that way.
No court has given any credence to any of this.
What the evidence shows.
The forensic evidence shows that Mr. Reed's guilt is impossible.
Why you?
I feel like I was just an easy target.
Did you buy that, what he just said?
Yeah, I'm buying some of it.
I think he put a mind virus on you.
Is an innocent man about to die?
There are even some people in Stacey Stites' family that believe you're innocent.
I don't believe that he murdered Stacey.
The clock is ticking.
With all this evidence, he must be free.
In a small Texas town on April 23rd, 1996, the half-dressed, murdered body of 19-year-old Stacey Stites set off a bizarre chain of events that mysteriously ended with 2 more people dead and 1 man on death row. When DNA was found in Stacey that matched a 28-year-old man named Rodney Reed, the prosecution told the jury that the DNA was the Cinderella slipper. The DNA matched Rodney's, they said, so therefore Rodney was the murderer. But what if it's not that simple? I traveled to Livingston, Texas, to death row to visit Rodney Reed. As we get 1 day closer to his execution, Rodney explained why they've got the wrong man, because he insists he is innocent. Take a look at what happened yesterday. Did you rape Stacey Stites?
No, I didn't.
Did you murder Stacey Stites?
No, I didn't.
He's accused of rape and murder, and sure enough, his sperm is inside her body. That seems pretty damning.
Until you start looking at the totality of the relationship between Rodney and Stacey.
How many times did you two see each other?
Some weeks I would see her maybe once or twice a week.
Did other people know you were having a relationship with her?
Yes, friends and family members of mine.
Do you know Alicia Slater?
No, I don't.
Stacey and I hung out at work. She wasn't that excited to get married because she was sleeping with a black guy named Rodney. I was, wow, Stacey, you need to be careful.
So you have no doubt that Stacey was in a relationship with Rodney?
I have no doubt.
None of this is what was told to the jury.
The prosecution told the jury Rodney's DNA was a match. In your opinion, does that make him the killer?
There's no way this guy could have committed this murder unless you can put him back in the apartment. But we know through the physical forensic evidence that the murder actually took place in this apartment.
When the body was found, there was a lot of lividity from here up, right? So I think he left her over the top like this.
She absorbed almost like 16 ounces of fluid.
We're talking about this full of water.
Right, even more than that.
3 medical experts say it's impossible for you to be the killer. They say if she died of anything, it was drowning.
They have the truth. They know the truth.
Dr. Cyril Wecht is a renowned forensic pathologist joining us to tell us what he discovered.
I have concluded that there is no way that the timing that is necessary for the prosecution to have brought this case has any kind of validity. This is one of the clearest, unequivocal cases of travesty of justice that I've ever seen.
Just when you thought you heard it all, there's a twist to this murder mystery. When I sat down with Rodney, I asked if he ever met Stacey's police officer fiance, Jimmy Finnell, who many believe is Stacey's real killer. They believe that based on evidence. Here's what Rodney had to say about running in to her fiance, Jimmy. Did you know who she was engaged to?
Jimmy Finnell.
Did she ever caution you about him?
Well, we had a conversation because the young lady that I was seeing at the time, her brother was a sheriff's deputy with Jimmy Finnell.
I see.
And she told me that if Jimmy found out that he would kill her. And when she said it, I took it more or less as a figure of speech. I didn't take it as nothing serious. You know, like,
oh, he would kill me.
yeah, like when you're young, you say, like, if you come home late, my mom will kill me, my dad will kill me. So I just took it as a figure of speech, and next thing you know.
So it wasn't a really dark thing when she said it. It was just kind of figuratively. You'd really be upset.
Right, that's the way I took it.
Did he ever have an inkling that you were in a relationship with her?
There was a time where a cousin of mine, we were together on the North End. He pulled up with another sheriff's deputy in a Bastrop sheriff's car. And he told me, "You're gonna pay."
So it was a clear threat.
I took it that way.
Rodney's attorney, Bryce Benjett, says what troubles him the most is law enforcement's failure to fully investigate Jimmy Finnell, a man who has a history of violence against women.
Attorneys for Rodney Reed claim Jimmy Finnell killed his fiancée, Stacey Stites, back in 1996.
Finnell went on to commit a separate violent crime.
Finnell has now pled guilty to kidnapping and improper sexual activity with a woman in his custody. Despite failing 2 lie detector tests when asked if he killed his fiancée, Finnell was ruled out as a suspect.
The real killer is Rodney Reed. The individual who raped and murdered her is properly on death row.
Well, Jimmy was released from prison last year, but his victim, Connie, says she will never forget what he did to her.
On October 27th, 2007, my fiance and I were arguing outside a friend's house to the point the neighbors called the cops. The 5 cops showed up, and one of them was Jimmy Finnell. I saw Jimmy Finnell speaking to the other 4 officers, and then the other 4 officers took my fiance away. I was real upset. I was telling Jimmy to take me to my fiance. Jimmy drove me to a wooded, secluded area, and he opened the door and asked me to step out of the car and dance for him. When I told him no, he grabbed me and slammed me up against the back of his patrol car and shoved my face down against it. He took his holster patrol belt and grabbed his weapon and held it against my head. I thought he was gonna kill me. Instead, he raped me. Just have 1 minute, please. He drove me back to the apartment. He handed me one of his cards and told me that the next day after his kid's soccer game, he was gonna come back. He told me he would kill me if I made any 911 calls. Jimmy Finnell is absolutely capable of rape, killing, covering it up, pretty much anything. He's an absolute monster. And I honestly think that if I would have fought him, he would have killed me that night.
Well, Connie, thank you for being here. I know it would be so much easier for you to just stay home, mind your own business, not be here and talk about this, but it means an awful lot that you're willing to come here and talk about it, so thank you for that.
It's no problem.
You obviously believe that he is capable of doing this kind of violence and more. That's your point, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I do believe that he's very capable of it.
What did he say to you when it was all over?
That if I told anybody, he would kill me.
But you did tell.
Oh, absolutely, I did. It was a police officer. Those are who you're supposed to be able to turn to, you know, when things go wrong. They're supposed to protect you. And here's this cop who did the total opposite. And if you do that to me, then you absolutely will do it to others if you haven't already. So I knew I had to stand up and say something.
Well, after you called 911 and the police came, what happened?
I took off running from them, where they chased me on foot.
And who were these cops?
Jimmy Finnell was one of them.
So you call 911, the police respond, and it's your rapist.
Mm-hmm. And the best part of it is 911 told me they never dispatched any police officers.
They just heard it on the radios.
They heard it on the radio.
And got there before the ambulance.
Before the ambulance did.
And you said they got you and put you in the car. and forced you to say something for the in-car cameras.
Yes.
What did they force you to say?
They told me that if I would look in the camera and say that I made the attack up, that nothing would happen and they'd let me go. So I did.
Why are you here today?
Because I know that Texas is about to kill somebody who didn't commit that murder.
All right, coming up, 2 beer cans were found at the scene of the crime, and they had DNA on them. They did not match Rodney's. Rodney's going to tell us about that next. Plus, Jimmy Finnell's attorney is here, and we have a lot of questions for him next, and I'm sure he's got a point of view that he's going to share. We'll be right back. There's 2 people involved here. There's one whose DNA is on beer cans close to where the body is found. Another that's investigating the murder has concluded it's not you. Both of them are dead. What do you think of that?
Monday. She says her teenage daughter went from straight-A cheerleader to suspensions, smoking, and sexting.
I smoke weed, party, fights. I'm a teenager. What else am I going to do?
You said, I'm doing what normal teenagers do. Drugs at school, suspended 40 times. That's not normal.
But who's to blame for this bad behavior?
Well, here's a little cheat sheet for you. You can't quit being a mother.
That's Monday. Then on Tuesday, his girlfriend covers for him.
He's punched you in the face.
And his mother was willing to lie to the police for him.
Can I tell you why?
Do I look like I care why?
New Dr. Phil, Tuesday. Dr. Phil's Rodney Reed exclusive continues. What happened to Stacey? What the evidence shows.
In 2001, while in prison, Rodney himself discovered in his pile of court documents a DNA analysis of 2 beer cans found at the scene where the body was discovered. Here's what Rodney has to say about that. When they found her body, there were 2 beer cans that had DNA on them.
Yes.
And those beer cans were tested. And the analysis of those beer cans excluded you, but 2 other potential suspects, a former Bastrop police officer, Ed Salmella, who's now dead apparently by suicide, who his brother says he doesn't believe it was suicide.
Neither do I.
And then there was also a police officer, David Hall, who was a good friend and neighbor of Jimmy's.
He's still alive.
And he's still alive, but he could not be excluded by those.
He couldn't be excluded.
Okay. Joe Bryant was a gentleman that was conducting an unauthorized investigation into Stacey's killing, and he was supposedly gunned down by a migrant worker from Mexico. What do you think of that?
I honestly think that they used the Hispanic guy as a scapegoat.
Well, Joe Bryant's widow, Maria, has made the statement that before he was killed, he told her straight up that he thought the killer was Jimmy Finnell, and shortly thereafter he was shot and killed.
Yeah.
There's 2 people involved here. There's one whose DNA is on beer cans close to where the body is found. Another that's investigating the murder has concluded it's not you. Both of them are dead. What do you say to yourself about that?
It looked like a cover-up to me.
Well, Bob Phillips has been a criminal attorney for over 40 years. He represents Jimmy Finnell, and he's here along with Rodney's attorney from the Innocence Project, Bryce Benjett, retired NYPD Detective Sergeant Kevin Gannon, and victimologist Dr. Lee Gilbertson. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. This doesn't look good for him, obviously, in light of being suspect in the case of Stacey Stites.
What doesn't look good for him?
The fact that he has a violent history with women and rape, because it means that behavior is not totally foreign to him. Would you agree?
Well, you produced one case, and he pled guilty to that particular case. Frankly, I was hoping we would go all the way to trial. I thought we had a very good chance to win that case, and he is now out, and he's a completely changed individual. He's actually in Christian ministry now, and I know the skeptics in the audience are probably snickering. I would be too, had I not met him 10 years ago, and now today.
Well, in fairness, I have to say I have seen jailhouse conversions that, you know, they're like foxhole Christians.
Well, I know they're irrelevant to whether he did this offense.
But then I've seen those that have really taken stock and seriously changed their value system and who they are and how they think and how they behave for the whole rest of their lives.
And I know it'll take several years to determine if this one's
Exactly.
real, but I happen to believe it is.
But that comes after the fact that someone has been killed, and there are people that think that he may be the one that did that. And there's no direct evidence that he did, and I'm the first to say that. There's also no direct evidence that Rodney Reed did.
Well, there is actually, at least plenty of circumstantial evidence. There were 6 women waiting in the wings to testify about his violent rape of them.
You will acknowledge he's never been convicted of any of those, and there are other complaints against your client as well. So you want to talk goose, we'll talk gander. We'll do that after the break. The assault cases that they have brought up about you in the past were accusing you of raping a 12-year-old girl. Did you ever rape a 12-year-old girl?
No, I didn't.
So why have you been accused of multiple situations of sexual violence?
Dr. Phil's Rodney Reed exclusive continues.
More than 20 years after her sister's murder, Deborah Oliver says her family has been silent long enough.
Jimmy is not guilty. He didn't murder my sister.
But another family member, cousin Heather Stobbs, was disowned after supporting Rodney Reed.
Everybody says, ooh, there's DNA. They stopped, and they didn't look at anything else.
Stobbs says Reed deserves another trial.
We'll meet Stacy's cousin Heather later in the program. We reached out to Stacy's sisters, and although they didn't want to be part of this discussion, which I respect and understand, they wanted to make sure people understood their position regarding Rodney, and they provided us with this statement. Over the past 20-plus years, an elaborate story has been created trying to blame my sister's murder on her fiancé. The stories supporting Rodney always fail to tell the whole truth. They don't mention that Rodney had been accused of rape before, but he was acquitted of that case because that victim was his, quote, secret girlfriend. They fail to mention that he is indicted in several other rape cases. They fail to mention that 6 months after murdering my sister, Rodney attempted to abduct a woman. That victim was able to get away and identified Rodney as the man that attacked her. Rodney Reed is a brutal rapist and murderer. My sister was young and in love and getting married. Her life was taken by Rodney Reed. We are confident that the right man is on death row. Stacy's sister's position is that Rodney has a violent past, yet he was never convicted of any other charges, nor was he indicted on what she said he was indicted on. When I sat down with Rodney, I asked point blank about his past sexual assault allegations. Here's what he had to say. Now, do you have any idea why they zeroed in on you to begin with? Because they had to test that DNA against yours in order to know it was you. Why you?
There was other allegations before in my past. That was not true because I didn't do any of that.
What were the allegations in the past?
Assault cases.
The assault cases that they have brought up about you in the past were that you have assaulted other females, and they brought some of those to court, right?
Yes, they did.
To make those allegations, including accusing you of raping a 12-year-old girl.
They were accusing me of all that stuff.
Did you ever rape a 12-year-old girl?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever have any kind of contact with a 12-year-old girl?
No, I don't do that stuff.
So why have you been accused of multiple situations of sexual violence?
I believe jealousy and anger played a lot in that. I can't tell you what goes on through a person's mind to make them say certain things.
Why were you never charged? Why were you never convicted of any of those things?
That's something that the state would have to answer. They brought that stuff in to make it appear I guess they were trying to dehumanize me the best way they could in front of the jury.
So these cases that they brought up where they said you had assaulted other women, you're saying none of that is true?
None of that's true. The charge has been dropped, dismissed. I've been acquitted. In fact, we have been trying to get the DNA testing done on that stuff.
So you're not trying to hide anything here. You're saying if you got those allegations, bring them out.
Yes.
Did you buy that, what he just said? That it was all about people being jealous and, I mean, is it going to be racism? Is it jealousy against Rodney? The world's out to get him. Why do 7 women come and testify, ready to testify in his death penalty case? And some of them did in the punishment phase. In the hashtag MeToo generation that we live in, why are these women not being given any credence whatsoever? Why are we going to believe this guy?
Dr. Phil.
Well, hang on. No, he asked me a question. I'm going to answer it.
That's a preposterous theory. And it puts...
How do you... Wait, what the hell?
Dr. Phil's Rodney Reed exclusive continues. What happened to Stacey? What the evidence shows.
In the hashtag MeToo generation that we live in, why are these women not being given any credence whatsoever? Why are we going to believe this guy?
Dr. Phil.
Well, hang on. No, he asked me a question. I'm going to answer it. Am I buying any of that? Yeah, I'm buying some of it.
I mean, I think he put a mind virus on you, personally.
Yeah. Well, let's just see whether he did or not. Because I think you're a very fine lawyer, and I think you present one side of the story, and your story goes a hell of a lot better when you're the only one telling it. No, I'm serious. But if you think that I think that this is a choir boy, and I think that, gee, he's just unlucky, they just go snatch him off the street every few minutes, I absolutely do not think that at all. And if you watch that first episode, you heard me say at the end, you're getting ready to learn some more things. You're going to learn some things about Rodney you don't know. I get that this is not a spotless individual. And I said to you, with what we know about your client, and you cut me off quickly in your best cross-examined mode and said, what is it we know?
I didn't say that.
Yes, you damn sure did, and I've got the tape to play it back if you want to hear it. You said there's one thing we know about my client.
One case is what I said.
Let's see. June 9th, 04, police report says he pulled over for a crooked license plate and asked where they worked at a strip club, asked to go to a secluded area. It's not like I'm going to rape you or anything. August 11th of 07, allegedly planted drugs in a woman's car, pulled into the bushes, looked at her chest. January 3rd, 2008, asked, what are you willing to do to get out of this? Tried to kiss and hug. She told him to just get it done. February 19th, 08, asked if he could bend her over a couch and have sex. I mean, police report, police report, police report, police report. No charges, no indictments, and no convictions. Just like Rodney Reed.
But the difference is he never tried to deny, like Rodney Reed did, that he even knew the victim. I just think that ought to be factored in. Another thing, I don't know if you want to go into this now, but the timetable that you've spent a great deal of time on where she couldn't have been killed at that particular time. The key witness to refute that happens to be Stacey Stites' own mother, who lived in the apartment complex with Jimmy, testified at the trial, jury believed her apparently, and she was living downstairs, Jimmy and Stacey living upstairs. She heard the door open when Stacey left for work at 3 a.m.
She heard Stacey open the door?
She heard the door open downstairs at 3 a.m.
But not who opened it?
Correct.
Okay.
But she would have to be complicit in the killing of this woman, of her own daughter, for that theory to work. It's important to recognize...
How does that make her complicit in...
Because the theory that you guys are advancing is that she had had sex with Rodney 48 hours earlier, right? That's what I heard in episode 1. And we are then to believe that she came home, didn't shower, and went to work. That's a preposterous theory. And it puts...
How do you... Wait, what the hell? How do you conclude that she would have come home, not taken a shower, and that makes her mother complicit in her murder?
Because she's in the place where supposedly Stacy got drowned in the bathtub upstairs in the hours preceding that door opening. She's downstairs. She hears the door open.
By somebody.
Okay, so we're to believe then that Jimmy strangles Stacy in the bathtub upstairs.
Don't know.
Runs downstairs with her, throws him in his truck, and then stages this crime, goes back to his apartment without Carol hearing this time that the door's opening. It's ludicrous.
Did not.
And no judge, no court has given any credence to any of this.
Well,
not one.
I don't connect those dots the way you do, and I don't know who killed this woman, but I know this. There is a lot of doubt as to whether Rodney Reed did. And
not in the minds of every appellate court that's heard the case.
Coming up, new witnesses have come forward and given affidavits that don't reflect well on Jimmy. We'll hear from them, plus we'll let these gentlemen respond to what this able gentleman has been talking about.
Dr. Phil's Rodney Reed exclusive continues.
During this time in prison, have you been surprised at how much support you've had from the community?
Yes, but I think the people support the truth.
There are even some people in Stacy Stites' family that believe you're innocent.
Yes.
Were you surprised that there are family members that have come out in your support?
Again, it goes back to the truth. I believe the people, the family, the other supporters support the truth. Why can't you support the truth?
For 22 and a half years, almost half of Rodney's life, he's been locked up in a tiny cell for a murder he says he didn't commit. Right now, he's actually on death watch, which means the lights are never turned off. He's watched 24 hours a day. Now, there are some new witnesses that judges and appellate judges have not heard. There's an insurance salesperson that has filed an affidavit. In November 1995, Stacy made the remark, quote, "I really don't know why I need life insurance since I'm so young." In response, Jim, in my presence, told her, "If I catch you messing around on me, I will kill you, and no one will ever know it was me that killed you." Jimmy's ex-girlfriend's affidavit, he was verbally hostile to me, called me mean names, screams at me in public. He didn't like me going out with my friends. He was extremely prejudiced. He told me everything he thought about black people. They were all bad. Sergeant Mary Blackwell, he made a comment if he ever found that his girlfriend was cheating on him, he would strangle her. I looked over my shoulder at him and said, "Well, if you do that, they'll find your fingerprints all over her throat." And he said, quote, "I'll strangle her with a belt." Now, County Sheriff's deputy affidavit, I distinctly remember standing in the doorway to the viewing room next to Jimmy Finnell. Jimmy was looking at Miss Stites, and Jimmy said something along the lines of, "You got what you deserved." It's a leap from that to murder. Those things were murder, but he wasn't much of a fun date during
Well,
that
I
time.
give credit to the great legal team that he has for continuing to find and creatively utilize these people that are coming out of the woodwork 20 years later. I love the one about the life insurance.
Dr. Phil, I got a lot to say, and some of this I can't quite figure out, so can only respond to what I can. And I appreciate the praise that Mr. Phillips gives us, because what we do at the Innocence Project is really try to get to the truth of the matter. And we've been as transparent as we could. You know, certainly Mr. Reed had agreed to talk to you. You know, we have not heard from Mr. Finnell. He took the Fifth Amendment before the trial when he was a suspect.
He testified in the trial back
exactly
in 96.
After Mr.
He didn't
Reed
need to testify again.
After the finger was pointed to Mr. Reed is the only time that he decided to waive that privilege. Jimmy Finnell was initially the key suspect in this case. We have a number of inconsistencies in what he told police, his best friend, a career law enforcement officer, about where he was.
Who appeared on CNN and later retracted his testimony.
He did not retract his testimony.
And
he affirmed every bit of his testimony.
Well, the judge didn't buy it. I was sitting there watching.
Let him finish. He let you talk.
I think we're getting an idea of what's going on here. I mean, we even heard from Miss Lear, as brave as she was to come out here, and then the first thing that Mr. Phillips does is try to minimize the responsibility that Jimmy Finnell was taking for that. We want to get to the bottom of this. The forensic evidence shows that Mr. Reed's guilt is impossible.
Didn't Jimmy take polygraph tests?
Yes.
He took 2.
I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2.
He took 2.
Okay.
And in both of them, he was asked directly. They were one-issue polygraphs, which tell me...
9 questions.
And, pardon me?
There were 9 questions, which is not an appropriate way to do polygraph.
There was 1 issue, right? And he failed both of those tests, correct?
I'm not sure whether it was 1 or 2. Was it 2?
2. Doc, he only failed 1 question. The question was, did you kill Stacy Stites? No. That's where the failure came in. So
can we all agree
that... those are not admissible. For good reason. Well, we have to take a break. Some of Rodney's supporters are here today. Rodney's mother, Sandra, his brother, Roderick, and Stacy's cousin, Heather. We'll hear from them after the break. It's scheduled now for November 20th.
Yes.
But what do you say to yourself about this?
I'm like Rodney. I'm not entertaining it right now. I just can't do it. All the evidence. He must be free.
Dr. Phil's Rodney Reed exclusive continues. What happened to Stacy? What the evidence shows.
Now, Rodney says he's learned to let a lot of things go, but it's the little things he misses the most. Take a look. Do you have anger about this? Do you have, I mean, you've been 22 and a half years in here for something you say you didn't do.
Something I didn't do.
Are you angry about that?
Initially, I was coming into prison, but then you have to let go of that anger. You can't live like that. I see it this way, that things that you have no control of, don't try to control the things you have no control of.
You said you miss the simple things in life. What are those simple things that you miss?
I mean, just being out and about, taking long walks, being able to see the moon, being able to try and count the stars.
How long has it been since you've seen the moon, since you've seen the sky?
Well, sometimes we got these little windows with these little slits where we can look out. And sometimes I'm looking out, you can't see them because of the angle that the building is. And you know they're there. I know they're there, though, but you just can't see them.
And now you're scheduled for execution in a matter of weeks. Take me inside your head now. What's going through your mind?
The love for my supporters, my friends, my mother. As long as my mother, she's standing up and staying strong, you know, I have to stay strong.
Are there times when you actually contemplate that this is scheduled and the number of days you have left in this world, the number of weeks that you have, you can count on your fingers?
Well, I really don't entertain those thoughts. I mean, when you ask me about it like right now, and I do realize how close it is and how short time is, how short life is, really. It's a serious matter, but I try not to entertain that.
For Rodney's mother, Sandra, his brother, Roderick, and Stacy's cousin, Heather, and Rodney's attorney, Bryce, have been fighting for Rodney for a long time. This has been very difficult for you, obviously. It's been 22 and a half years.
Yes.
It's scheduled now for November 20th.
Yes.
What do you say to yourself about this?
I'm like Rodney. I'm not entertaining it right now. I just can't do it. I'm holding on to faith, the truth, and that's what we're here for, the truth, to get it out here.
Do you believe he's going to be set free?
Yes, I do. I have to hold on to that. Yes, I do. He must. All the evidence. He must be free.
What do you think about this, Roderick?
I think that right out of the gate, my brother didn't have a shot. I think this case is a prime example why they should abolish the death penalty.
That's right.
Because it is so corrupt. It is racist. It is biased. And all those things have played a major role in my brother's case.
Yes.
And we stand here today saying that we are tired and the state of Texas ought to be tired because one life is too many.
Well, Heather, you think he's innocent, but the rest of the family sees it differently, right?
Her mother and her sisters see it differently. There are a lot of cousins that agree that at the very minimum, he should have a new trial.
Right. And do you believe that he murdered Stacey?
No, I don't believe that he murdered Stacey.
Why not?
When this first happened, even her sisters were suspicious of Jimmy Finnell. There's a note that her sister wrote that details points that they were concerned about. And I don't understand how they went from that to where their belief is now, her mom and her sisters.
This gets stranger
Yes.
by the minute when you dig into it. Coming up, Rodney's final words to me and my thoughts and comments. We'll be right back. I want you to pick up your voting apparatus under your chair, and it's time for you to decide, do you think that Rodney is guilty of murder or not guilty? I was only allowed 1 hour with Rodney. My time was coming to an end, so I wanted to give him the final word. Take a look. If you have a message to say, what is it?
I am absolutely innocent of this case. I absolutely had nothing to do with Stacey's death. I want to be a father to my kids. I want to be a grandfather to my grandchildren. I want to be able to be the son to look after my mother and the brother to my brothers. I want to be a part of my family and my friend's life.
And to be very clear, did you rape and murder Stacey Stites?
No, I absolutely did not. No.
You had nothing to do with it at all?
Nothing to do with Stacey's death. I wasn't with her that night. I had absolutely nothing to do with her death.
And you said that they didn't want to bring in, if there's DNA evidence in these allegations against you for other sexual assaults that they're throwing up against the wall, you're saying, let's bring all that forward. Bring that, if there's that DNA evidence, we have technology now that they didn't have then. You're saying, let's bring that out now. Let's find out if that's right.
Let's test it. Don't fault me for anything that you have done.
Are you glad that you've done this interview?
Yes, I am. I appreciate it.
I'm glad we did this. You're telling us we have to stop. We will stay in touch. God bless you.
I appreciate you, Doc.
Thank you. I'm curious what you guys think. So I want you to pick up your voting apparatus under your chair. And it's time for you to decide, do you think that Rodney is guilty of murder or not guilty? You press 1 for guilty, press 2 for not guilty. All right, polling is closed. We have the results.
I'm curious as to who the 1% is.
Bob, I won't ask you how you voted.
Thankfully, there are courts for this kind of thing.
Right, exactly. Let me tell you what I think about this. This is not a perfect system. To say that it is just foolish. There are people on death row that have been executed and later exonerated. This should not be one of those. I don't think it's a question of whether he's guilty or not guilty. I think the question is, has he had a fair trial with a full airing of all of the evidence? And I think the answer to that question, in my opinion, is not just no, but hell no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of my guests today. Bryce Panjett of the Innocence Project, thank you. Kevin Gannon, Dr. Lee Gilbertson, and Attorney Bob Phillips. A special thanks to the Alan B. Polonsky unit in West Livingston, Texas, where I interviewed Rodney, and a very special thanks to Senior Warden Michael Butcher and the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. If you want to get more information about today's show, let me know. I want to know what you think. And you can also get more information by logging on to the innocenceproject.org. Also, Sandra and Roderick started a change.org campaign for Rodney called Stop the Execution of Rodney Reed. So we'll have a link to that on our social platforms and website as well. You can leave me a comment on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. I read these on the air sometimes, so be careful what you say. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I drink, smoke pot, cigarettes. I like being drunk.
I don't know how to parent a troubled daughter.
Is mom an enabler?
I've not bought her alcohol. I did buy her cigarettes before.
I don't know any of this stuff.
You do now. What are you going to do about it?
This is not the kid that I raised.
It's exactly the kid you raised.
Making me feel like a failure. I don't know.
You are a failure. You've just given up as well? What the hell's going on here? Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, this is 17-year-old Taylor's very active social media. As you can see, looking through her posts, Taylor definitely likes to party. She says she drinks hard liquor every weekend until she almost blacks out, smokes weed, and vapes every day. She also says she sneaks out, not every night, but frequently, steals her mom's car, takes her credit cards, and has trashed her room so badly, even she can't live in it. Now, normally the parent would write in about their out-of-control teen, but not in this story. No. It was Taylor's 19-year-old sister, Madison. Take a look at what's going on.
My sister Taylor is disrespectful and disobedient.
I think Taylor's out of control.
Bitch!
Taylor's room is a mess. Writings all over the wall. She does what she wants. She'll sneak out if I don't give her permission. She's drinking, she's smoking. She's just going down the wrong path. I need to stop it.
Taylor started drinking, smoking marijuana, and cigarettes when she was in high school. One night I was in the basement, I found a bunch of empty liquor bottles and beer cans.
Earlier this year, I found liquor bottles in her closet. And when I confronted her and asked her whose they were, she said that they were her friends. I'm unsure of what she drinks. I don't know if it's hard liquor. I don't know if it's just beer or wine coolers. It could be a mixture of all of that. At first, I thought her behavior was just a phase, but it's not changing. Taylor loves to sneak out of the house after I'm in bed for the evening, and I don't even know that she's gone until I get a phone call asking to pick her up.
This is how I sneak out to go places if the front door is locked.
She typically calls me after my husband leaves for work, which is around 2 in the morning. Taylor and I, or Taylor and her sister, will get in a fight at least once a week.
When my mom tells my sister no, Taylor will turn violent. Taylor punches my mom when she doesn't get her way.
Taylor has hit me at least 5 times. 3 times we're in the car. She just swung her arm and hit me in the chest and even hit me a little bit in the face.
Taylor got so mad one day, she got a knife out of the drawer and threatened me with it.
My daughter does what she wants when she wants. She doesn't care about anyone but herself.
When I greeted you coming in, I said, thank you for writing in. Because I'm glad you did, because she didn't and your dad didn't. And you're passive and he's gone a lot, right?
Yeah.
So who's parenting the child?
Right. Yeah.
That's the question.
I know. I say no and then end up giving in because of her temper tantrums.
Do you feel guilty about something, or?
No, I don't know. I don't know why I give in. I feel like it's just easier just to give in than to deal with the temper tantrum.
This is easy.
No, it's not easy. No.
Because this doesn't seem easy at all. Why do you think no one's parenting this child?
Because of her temper, and they don't want to deal with it.
But that temper didn't start when she was 17. That temper started much earlier. And I've always said, we're not raising children, we're raising adults.
Yeah.
And so at 4, 5, 6, 7, if you're going to make a stand with your child, the time to make it is then, when they don't have the physical wherewithal, the mental wherewithal, the social wherewithal to be as formidable an opponent as they are when they're 16, 17 years old, right?
Yeah, and I didn't feel like I was a bad parent when she was little. I felt like I trained her up in the way she should go, but
you've just
kind of gave up, I feel like.
Well, I made kind of a list of your thoughts on parenting, of what you told us. You said it's easier to give in. I'm more lenient. You said I probably do enable.
Yeah, probably.
You think you enable. I think jazz flute's overrated. I know you are an enabler.
Yeah. I don't know where I went wrong. I don't know where I went wrong.
Let's learn a few things about your daughter.
Okay.
Okay, because Taylor agrees with pretty much everything that was said about her so far. She's just here to make sure you understand that she's going to do what she damn well wants to do. So let's take a look at what she had to say.
I drink and smoke pot. I also smoke cigarettes every day. I like to go further than buzzed. I like being drunk. There's been a few times where I've been blackout drunk. My parents think that my friends are the reason I do this, but I make my own decisions. It's my choice to drink and it's my choice to smoke. It's my time to live and I'm gonna keep doing what I want. I sneak out of the house 3 to 4 times a week to go hang out with friends. I'm surprised that my mom still picks me up, but I know she will because she wants me to be at home rather than partying with friends. I'm out of control because I'm doing stuff I shouldn't be doing at my age, but I don't care that I'm doing it. I will hit things, kick things, throw things. I'll just keep doing it until I do get what I want. I'll feel bad whenever my mom does give in, but at the same time I'm getting what I want, so I don't care. I've hit my mom a few times when she's told me no. I've pulled a knife on my mom because she wouldn't take me to a party. One time I hit my mom and Madison jumped in. We ended up punching each other multiple times.
Hit me!
Madison is selfish and rude. I don't like how she always tries to parent me because I already have my parents. I don't need a third one. My parents compare me to Madison all the time. She had a job at 16 and I didn't. She's going to college and I say I don't want to go to college.
You haven't even tried to apply for a job.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
That's not really your business. I don't see why you care so much. So I hate when you get involved. They think she's better than me. I want my parents to understand that the only way they can get me to stop partying is if they put me in jail, but I feel like when I get out, I would keep doing it anyways.
Okay, what do you think about what she just said?
I'm at a loss of words.
Taylor's father has been listening backstage, and I bet he's hearing all kinds of things that he never knew went on in his home. She thinks that he is so strict that what he does is abusive. I don't think he thinks so. We're going to meet him next.
My daughter has no respect for me because I tell her no, and that makes me the bad guy. The difference between Kim and I is that I don't give in to Taylor's demands. She does.
My mom is so focused on Taylor that she hasn't focused on my dad at all.
They don't sleep in the same room.
My dad has said that he feels more of like a roommate to my mom.
I don't think Taylor's behavior affects our marriage. My husband and I work schedules are complete opposite, so I tend to sweep things under the rug just to keep the peace.
My mom has to keep secrets from my dad.
When my mom and dad argue, divorce is brought up so much that I'm afraid it will actually happen.
We've never talked about divorce or anything like that, or separation.
Well, Kim's husband, Troy, says Kim's stress level is through the roof because of Taylor. He says he doesn't really get involved in the decision-making because he lives in a house with all women and his daughters always go to mom.
Taylor's going down a destructive path. She is like a ticking time bomb. I'm fearful she doesn't start making smarter decisions. It could cause bad consequences for her in the end. Taylor disrespects my wife all the time. My wife does a lot for Taylor, and she doesn't appreciate it. My daughter has no respect for me because I tell her no, and that makes me the bad guy. There are a lot of things that I find out after the fact because I'm not there, because of my job. I only really know about 50% of everything that goes on in the house. My girls are afraid to tell me because they're afraid of how I'm going to react. The difference between Kim and I is that I don't give in to Taylor's demands, and she does. If you give in to a kid at a young age, it's only going to continue to get worse. Since Taylor has been misbehaving, my marriage has been going downhill because my wife is always stressed out and she doesn't really want to do anything. Kim and I just don't have quality time together. There's no spark in the marriage anymore because of the everyday occurrences with Taylor.
Troy, thank you for being here. You've been listening backstage.
Yes.
What do you have to say about what you've heard? And is there anything that's a surprise to you that you didn't know?
About everything I saw on that video. I'll just put it to you this way, Dr. Phil. We have different ways of raising. I don't know if it's different ways that we were brought up, but different ways of parenting. And I tried to instill that in my kids when they were younger. And somewhere between that, almost like night and day, Taylor changed. Everybody said, she's just going through this. It's a middle school thing. She'll grow out of it. It's gotten worse.
Well, this is happening on your watch.
I know.
Have you just given up as well? Who is anybody? What the hell's going on here? I don't get it. You're home in the afternoon.
Yes, I am home in the afternoon.
So you have more access than most fathers do to their daughters.
That's right. That's right. And it's always been that way.
And she's homeschooled. What the hell's that all about?
I was against the homeschooling thing, the online schooling, because that's the only thing she has ever had to be responsible for. Showing up for school on time and not being able to leave until the bell rings. Now you've given her the liberty of sleeping all day, up all night, and logging into the computer when she feels like it.
Well, this is just a higher form of insanity. Now, here's what Taylor says. She says she was bullied at school. That's why she wanted to be homeschooled. But really, all she wanted to do was be able to see her boyfriend during the day. She's not being homeschooled. She just quit school.
Right, exactly, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I'm here to ask you a question, Dr. Phil. When I get cut off at the pass, okay, I'm basically against every parenting decision that she wants to make. How am I supposed to parent?
So what you're saying is you're losing out to a parent that doesn't even parent. It's not like she is adamant about her parenting philosophy, so she stands her ground. I'm going to do it my way. She doesn't even want to parent. She isn't even trying to parent. You're losing to somebody that is abdicating her parenting.
The kid doesn't come to me anymore because all she hears is the word no, and she doesn't like it.
And when she hears no from you, she goes to you and gets yes, correct? Right?
Correct. Absolutely.
That's what happens.
Absolutely.
So you're saying, I don't know what to do, I cave, I give in, I know I don't know what to do, but I'm criticizing what he does.
Sometimes I feel he can be too harsh and too explosive when situations come up, and I know that I'm too passive, and somewhere we need to meet in the middle where I'm not passive and not too explosive.
You ain't got any more idea than a goose what you're doing, do you?
No, apparently.
But yet you take his inventory. Well, coming up, not only has Taylor stolen her mother's car, she's also let her friends drive it while smoking dope.
What?
She'll tell us more when we meet her next. But now, before we go, and before I bring her out here, I need to have something clear with you guys. Are we going to just do more of the same when she comes out here, or are you guys willing to do what it takes to turn this around? Because if you're going to continue to do just what you're doing, then I just need to excuse myself, call Department of Child and Family Services, report you for being negligent parents, have her removed from the home, put in foster care as the only way of saving her life. We'll be right back.
Just when you thought...
Are you a 33-year-old scam artist?
You've seen it all.
Christine Barnett tells us the girl she adopted was no child at all, but a fraud who tried to kill her family.
It comes down to whether or not you are an evil dwarf.
It doesn't get better.
My mother thinks that she's in a relationship with Vladimir Putin.
I love him. He is going to come and take me home to Russia. Vladimir communicates with me through his ties.
That's disturbing. I miss my mom.
I am still your mother.
If he's in love with you, why has he never met you? And why is he talking to you through his tie?
Then this.
If you're happy and you know it, shake your meds.
Tamara's really addicted to Adderall.
Adderall and the music and Minor Monster. Woo!
Tamara's always sending me all these wacky texts. Electric boots, Flo, the bleedy lamb, no avocado on the iPad.
Does that look manic to you?
I like mania. It's way better than depression.
Get ready to see what happens.
Chaz is facing 5 felony counts.
This ain't just a TV show, like this is real life. This is how it is in the hood.
How long did it take you to learn this accent?
Accent? I didn't learn
No, you go in and out of an accent.
It's because I'm trying to sound proper on TV.
All month long.
Both men have proposed to her, and she said yes to both.
Keoma, he asked me to marry him, but then I fell in love with Gunesh.
I think it's time that we have Holly's 2 fiancés meet for the first time.
Oh, no is right.
Dr. Phil, November.
Oh my God. Kill me. This is my room, or was my room.
Taylor trashed her room.
There's a lot of artwork on the walls.
There are stains all over her white carpet.
This is from me dyeing my hair red, and then the rest is probably just makeup. One time I had a party here and I dared one of my friends to punch a hole in the wall, just for fun. I eventually moved out of my room because I destroyed it, so I now stay in the basement.
Madison emailed me saying her sister Taylor is out of control, stealing, drinking, smoking, hitting her mom, Kim, who gives no consequences whatsoever, no matter what Taylor does. Taylor says she just wants to live in the moment because you're only 17 once.
I'll steal money to get alcohol, marijuana, and cigarettes.
At 3 in the morning, I received a fraud alert on my phone. It was my credit card company saying that my card was trying to be used at a gas station.
I've taken my mom's car 3 times without her knowing.
I've heard that Taylor and her friends have taken our vehicle out for a joyride, but I am unsure.
When we stole my mom's car the first time, we smoked pot in the car.
When I was on vacation, Taylor decided to steal my car.
I didn't drive it. I actually let 2 guys drive it, and I was in a different car.
There is no doubt in my mind Taylor is a thief.
Well, Taylor, it's good to meet you.
Me too.
You basically do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Yep.
So if your mother says, no, don't do that, stay home tonight, don't sneak out, don't leave, don't smoke, that's just noise to you. You don't care. You're just going to do what you want to do.
I don't care. I'm going to do it anyways.
Are you telling me that you're just basically a sociopath? You don't really care if you victimize other people?
I guess, yeah.
And there's nothing your mother can say, or your father can say, or your sister can say, or even that I could say that is going to stop you from doing that.
I'm going to be the same person when I go home.
And if what you want to do is illegal, you don't care.
I don't care.
There's consequences for those behaviors.
But I'm still going to do it. I've never been caught. I've been doing it since 6th grade.
People say they don't get caught.
Get caught.
Okay, Taylor says the first time she took her mom's car was October of 2018. Did you know that?
No.
So that was a year ago.
Yeah.
When you stole the car, you said you were smoking marijuana, and driving with your friends. You guys were all smoking dope, right?
Yeah, I let my friend drive though since I don't have my license.
Under the influence.
Yeah.
This is the reason I didn't let you get your driver's license in the first place.
I have friends
That's
that
why.
drive me around though, so I don't really care for my license.
And you just lied about being bullied at school, right? You just wanted to get out of school so you could hang with your boyfriend?
Yeah.
You know all this, right?
I do.
You knew it when it was happening, right?
Yeah.
Did she tell you, or did you just know?
I think she tells me because I'm the older sister and she thinks I'm going to think it's cool.
Yeah.
But
I tell her
it's
something.
not
I don't
the
tell her
case at all.
everything.
What's the biggest thing they don't know?
When I ask her for money to get food, I'm buying alcohol.
Yeah.
Instead
How
of
do you buy it? You don't have a driver's license, so you don't have an ID. Do you have a fake ID?
No, I have friends that will buy it for me.
I'm just so disappointed. I just can't believe it turned out this way.
You know I drink,
But
though.
you know she does it and you don't do anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't.
What do you think?
I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, you do now. What are you going to do about
Yeah,
it?
I do now. You know, I'm glad I'm here, Dr. Phil, because we genuinely need your help, because this is not the kid that I raised up until about 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, actually, it is. It's exactly the kid you raised. Well, Troy says Taylor destroyed the house when he said no to a new cell phone. So how long did it take Taylor to get that cell phone?
The next day.
The next day. We'll talk about that after the break. Before we get back to today's program, I want to tell you what we have coming up Wednesday. Have you heard of a mama's boy? Well, this is an extreme version. We have a guest who says he hasn't gotten out of bed in 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Jess says he's depressed and does nothing but look up at the ceiling in a dark room. His mom, Sue, brings him food, does his laundry, runs his bath water, and, well, there's more. Take a look.
I had a fiance. We had a messy breakup. That was the end. I laid down and haven't been able to get up. I've been practically living in my bed for the past 5 years.
My son Jess stays in bed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every day I have to empty the portable urinals.
I'd sit up like this, use the urinal, set it down, and lay back down.
He can walk, but she's emptying his urinals. Now, when you talk about enabling, that's enabling. He's a grown man, and she's emptying his urinals so he doesn't have to get up and walk 5 feet to the bathroom. So that's on Wednesday. You don't want to miss it. Okay, let's get back to this family.
I started smoking cigarettes first, and then I started to vape. I like vapes because it tastes better than cigarettes.
My mom is fully aware she smokes and vapes.
I have given in and purchased her cigarettes and the vaping pods. I find it's easier to do that than to deal with the punches or with fits that she throws.
I know people that have been smoking for 50 years. I've only been smoking for like 5.
And I have no idea. I thought it was just like recently. I have not tried to punish her. I just talked to her about the situation and explain how it's unhealthy for her.
Well, Taylor says she smokes daily, has 7 to 10 drinks a night on the weekend, steals her mother's car and wallet. Mother says she doesn't even know how many times she's stolen her credit card. And what's more, she's just here to let everybody know she's not going to stop, so the hell with you, the hell with you, the hell with you. And I heard you at the break say, see what you're doing to me?
Yeah.
What, you're the victim here?
No, it's making me feel like a failure. I don't know. I know
you
that
are
I'm
a failure.
I am a failure. I'm a complete and utter failure. She turned out just fine. So obviously I'm not too bad of a parent. I'm just, for some reason, not a good enough parent, or didn't do a good enough job for her.
And you didn't know that all this was going on?
No.
May 27th, currently drunk as blank. You can fill that in. It has 4 letters. June 20th, wow, I've been trashed every day this summer. You couldn't find that on the internet?
No.
Oh, we found it in about 8 minutes.
She doesn't have Instagram.
I don't have Instagram.
Get it. I've known her now for about, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And I know more about your daughter than you do? What the hell?
Like I said, I've tried when these kids were younger. She got them cell phones too early. I was against that. They got Facebook pages and social media. I was against that. I don't know how to parent a troubled teenage daughter.
Well, why are you giving in to stuff you don't believe in? Will she have your in a Dixie cup or something?
Fair enough.
Seriously, I don't get it. You say, I don't know. You say, she's doing it. I can't do anything about it. What? I don't understand you people.
I don't understand it either.
Let me get your reaction to this one.
Okay.
According to Madison, Mom has purchased her cigarettes and alcohol.
I've not bought her alcohol. That is a lie. I did buy her cigarettes and vaping pods before.
One time.
Not that, but that is not, that happened just a couple times. That was it.
Things I don't know about.
Taylor wants her parents to know that she's not doing anything stupid. Well, here's something very dangerous about what she's doing, and the consequences are much worse than she realizes. Take a look.
New warning suggesting a potential link between teen vaping and e-cigarette use to severe lung disease.
Vaping is a danger. Deaths are being reported and hundreds of serious injuries.
I know. That's it. No more. That's it.
Some new concerns about e-cigarettes and teenagers specifically.
17-year-old Tristan ended up in the ICU at Cook Children's in Fort Worth this summer on a ventilator. Machines were keeping him alive.
17-year-old Whitney Livingston was hospitalized 2 weeks ago in Dallas. She and her mother blame her 2-year vaping habit for her severe lung injury.
The ventilator was the best thing because she could not breathe on her own.
Yeah, never again.
You didn't know that either, did you?
No.
Do you own a television?
I did. I've been doing it since 6th grade. I'll be all right.
So I'm curious where these parents think this is headed. Coming up, Taylor says when she smokes, she feels happy and excited and fun. She says it's never a negative feeling, so wonder what she's avoiding. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Taylor said that she was getting bullied at school, so we decided to let her do online schooling.
I lied to my mom and told her I was getting bullied.
Taylor's required to do at least 25 hours a week, and we're lucky if she does 10 hours. She is not motivated at all. She stays up all night and then she'll sleep all day. At first I wasn't aware that she wasn't meeting her requirements until I received a letter from the online school and come to realize they had her phone number as a contact number and not my phone number.
I gave the online school my number instead of my mom's. I usually just don't answer.
Do you have a job?
No.
So where'd you get those tennis shoes?
My mom.
And where'd you get this outfit you wear and the phone you use and all that?
From my mom.
And if you're telling her to just mind her own business, you're going to do what you want to do when you want to do it, tell me why she should go to the trouble to spend one dime or 1 minute or 1 ounce of energy on you.
She shouldn't, but I mean, I still get my way.
Do you have a disdain for her, a dislike for her? Do you love her, hate her, indifferent about her? How do you feel about her?
She's like the easier parent to talk to and easy to get around and
manipulate.
And so how do you feel about your father?
I don't really talk to him that much because he just works and sleeps and he's kind of clueless about like this whole thing.
How about your sister? How do you feel about her?
I don't like how she tries to parent me.
Well, hell, somebody's got to try, right? I mean, your parents don't. You've hit your mother 3 times that she remembers, right? It's probably more than that, but 3 times that we know of, right?
Yeah.
And what gave you the right to put your hands on her in anger?
When she told me no.
Does that seem reasonable?
No, but I still do it because at that point she'll just be like, All right.
Well, I can't hit you back, so what do I do?
So if their belief is that you're headed down a self-destructive path, what should they do?
Make me better, I guess. I don't know. I'm probably still going to come out the same way, though.
So you think at some point, just one morning, you're just going to wake up and say, well, okay, that was that. So now I need to bear down and finish my education and get my career and become successful in life?
Eventually, maybe, but I'm always going to smoke and drink, no matter what.
Why do you do that, do you think?
Makes me feel better.
You're not doing it to escape anything?
No, I'm not sad or, like, upset about anything, really. I just like doing it because I like doing it.
And when was the first time you started drinking?
I started drinking in, like, 8th grade.
And when was the first time you started smoking dope?
6th grade.
6th grade. And were you aware of that?
No.
Were you aware of that?
Absolutely not.
Were you aware of that?
No, not 6th grade. I noticed her changing in 8th grade.
I assumed it was 8th grade.
What'd you do about it when you found out about it?
My guy she was dating at the time was known to do that, so I just kept a close eye on him and...
Yeah, so you kept a close eye
Yeah.
on him. When did you first know she was doing illegal drugs?
I don't know any of this. I found out after the fact that the kid was at a house party with a boy she's been seeing. He almost OD'd in that house.
When did you find that out?
3 or 4 days later.
What'd you do about that?
It scared her to the point where she didn't want to hang out with that crowd anymore.
I'm asking, what'd you do about it?
What did I do about it?
Yeah.
I asked her, well, what the hell was she doing there?
Now answer my question. What'd you do about it?
I guess I didn't do a thing.
Not a damn thing.
After the fact. Not a
damn thing. Kim said that she needed a parenting plan from me, and boy, she wasn't kidding. So I'm going to talk to these parents. I'm going to excuse you because we're going to talk about adult things. Coming up, some vital health care information you do not want to miss, and then we'll be back with you two.
I'm not going to make the choice at this point.
Now, if you or someone you know has tried to figure out the maze of Medicare, trust me, you're not alone. So today, we're going to make it really simple to ensure that you're getting the best benefits for you. So joining me is Andromeda DeBerry, a licensed insurance agent and spokesperson for MedicareAdvantage.com. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Look, I know my viewers, and why is it so important for people to learn about Medicare and their options right now?
Yes, well, it's the Medicare annual enrollment period, and for many people, it's the only time of year that they can get a Medicare Advantage plan or switch to a new plan and take advantage of new or additional benefits that may now be available.
So what additional benefits can Medicare Advantage plan offer that a Medicare Part A and B don't?
Medicare is great, but it doesn't cover everything. What many people don't know is that Medicare Advantage plans cover all of the same benefits as Medicare Parts A and B, but may include additional benefits for things like vision, hearing, dental, including dentures and extractions, free eyeglasses, and even free hearing aids. There may also be benefits for in-home support services, transportation to doctor's visits, free gym memberships, and even free meal delivery.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So it sounds like Medicare Advantage plans help provide important missing coverages for services that people really need. Are there other benefits?
Yes, many plans offer an over-the-counter allowance, and that helps pay for everyday items like vitamins, supplements, incontinence, blood pressure, and diabetic supplies.
Okay, vitamins, supplements, all of that stuff.
Yes.
So hospitalization is probably the biggest expense that someone can face. Can Medicare Advantage help there?
Medicare Parts A and B only cover limited hospital and medical costs, and there's no limit on what you could be responsible to pay out of pocket. So just one visit to the hospital could cost thousands. However, with a Medicare Advantage plan, there's an annual limit on what you could be responsible for.
So once you have Medicare Advantage, do you have to renew every year?
Well, every year there are new plans that become available that have additional benefits and maybe more than what you currently have at a lower price. There are many plans with $0 monthly premiums, $0 copays for many services, or no deductible. And with it being the Medicare annual enrollment period, now is the time to find out what's available to you.
Well, Medicare Advantage sounds like a really good option. No doubt people at home are saying, how do they do it? How do they enroll?
Well, we've set up a special hotline for your audience to call for a free, no obligation benefits review right now. They can call 1-800-520-2919 and speak to a licensed insurance agent who can look up their current Medicare benefits and review what plans may be available that offer additional benefits.
We get a lot of questions about this in our mail, which is why we wanted to do this. The time is now to enroll in Medicare Advantage plans. Make sure you get the best benefits for you. So that number is 800-520-2919. Call the MedicareAdvantage.com hotline today. So there, I've told everybody that had questions about it what all the answers are. So I want to thank Andromeda Dewberry, so thank you for being here today. Up next, we're going to get back to it and find out what Taylor's parents are taxed with the assignment of sending her away. Now, that's not easy when it's your own child, so we'll see what happens. We'll be right back. It's interesting, you two fight about how this child should be parented, and neither one of you are within a country mile of what needs to happen with this child parenting-wise. Yeah. You are negligent parents, and negligence is abuse, and that needs to stop. You do need to take her out of the game. You do need to send her somewhere. And the reason you need to send her somewhere is you need at least a period of time for the two of you to work your butts off figuring out what you need to do so that when she comes back to an environment where the two of you have the same plan for parenting this child. And that means if she steals your credit card again, you need to prosecute her. Yes. You need to put her in jail. There is a program that's called the Wingate Wilderness Program. It's a therapeutic wilderness program that is truly among the best therapeutic environments in the entire country for young people. And your clock is ticking here. She's 17. When she hits 18, your ability to direct her goes to zero. At that point, you can influence her. Right now, you can direct her. If you're going to turn her, you need to turn her now. But I'm telling you this, I won't even waste time if you two aren't willing to work with a family therapist while she's gone to come up with a serious plan as a family for her to come back to a non-toxic environment.
Yes.
And if y'all aren't willing to do that while she's gone, there's no point in me I've got 10,000 people that would like to have this resource. I'm not going to waste it on you if you're not willing to do the work while she's gone.
Oh, I will. I'm willing.
Because it's the difference between this child having a chance at life or not having a chance at life, because you two have run this off in the ditch. And I could easily have told her this, but I don't want to be the one to tell her this. This is your first step, standing shoulder to shoulder and telling her, we're going to send you to this program. And you're going to go back here and she's going to yell and she's going to scream and she's going to whine and she's going to promise and she's going to manipulate. And you need to say, nope, you're going in. She does not pass go. She does not collect $200. She goes from here to there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
I want to thank all of my guests today, and I know you guys comment a lot on what I do here and otherwise, and I read the comments on social media. Here's a fun one Lori posted on Facebook. I just love this Dr. Phil. He pulls no punches and tells them straight up. Well, that would be me. You know, I feel like if people come here, they deserve for me to do my homework, study what's going on, and tell them the truth as I see it. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but I'm going to tell you the truth as I see it. I think you deserve nothing less. Thanks for keeping in touch. Who knows, I may share your comment next. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, sounds good.
We just spoke to Shane from the Wilderness Program. We have decided to send Taylor there.
What the hell am I going to do? Take her home with me? And then what? As hard as it is for me, I know that she needs it.
We decided that we're going to send you to get some help at Wendy. This is Laura and Mike, and we're going to take you there.
We are your interventionist transporters today. If you need anything, please ask us.
Why would I have a phone there?
Not there, no. In fact, your phone's going to go home with your family.
For safekeeping?
Yeah, so it'll be there when they come back with it. Right?
I'm not going.
Okay.
No, I'm not going.
Well, you don't need a phone up there.
I'm not going.
No choice at this point.
Dr. Phil told Mom and I if we don't get our act together, it isn't going to work for you. So we have to work at this too.
Can I at least call my friends before I leave?
Listen, if you come to our car nice and calm, we might as well get that out of the way real quick and give you a couple minutes. Fair? Of course.
Please.
Got 5 minutes?
Alicia is in the screen room next to us. She's been very up and down all morning. She has threatened to leave multiple times this morning. It has been extremely difficult trying to reel her back in. Right now, she's okay. We don't know how long that will last.
She was refusing to come on at least 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to come on if I have to wear this or if I can't talk about this. So
what's she doing?
We don't know if she's coming or not coming.
So now I'm starting to believe the other sister.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Just when she wanted to set the record straight, I don't know.
She's being the problem.
She's being a big problem.
So, what's happening with these guests?
Okay, so we have one really difficult guest today. She's been yelling and screaming.
This is your fault too! Because I told you the same I said I didn't want to go. So why am I being forced to be somewhere where I don't want to be? Like, everybody is pissing me the hell off now.
I've about had it with this. They get here and behave this way. I am sick of this crap. I'm going to talk to them, but if she does this, we're done. So keep the cars ready. Let's just do this. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, I got to tell you, just starting straight out, I am about fed up with this show today before we even get started. Now, I've gone through this binder. It's about 250 pages because I do my damn homework before people get here. And this is two sisters that are she said, she said. They start pointing fingers. One calls the other a sociopath, a prostitute, says she steals money, fakes cancer. They basically hate each other, say they desperately want help. But do they really? This might be a really short show. Take a look.
My sister Alicia, she is the black sheep of the family.
I'm not gonna lie, I hate Kayla. I despise her. I wish Kayla was aborted. As bad as it sounds, I wish she was.
Alicia has traits of a sociopath. She lied about having cancer, and it was not true.
I had seen a doctor, and they told me that I had ovarian cancer. I was shocked. And then the nurse told me that I was perfectly fine. It was a mix-up of a chart.
She started a GoFundMe page for the cancer, but there's no proof on that.
The GoFundMe page was not for cancer. It was because I actually wanted to take the time to go back to school.
She's always driving very expensive cars. She once had 3 cars at the age of 18, a Range Rover, a Honda, and a Jeep. She was showing me her bank statements and had money getting put into it every week, thousands of dollars. Where would an 18-year-old get all this money? She's either doing things sexually for money or she's dealing with drugs.
That accusation is 100% not true. I had this boyfriend. He got me a car. It was a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was not a Range Rover.
Alicia has a big problem with stealing. She's stolen money, credit cards, jewelry, and clothes. I know for a fact that Alicia has stolen more than $10,000 from a relative out of the country.
I do not have $10,000. If I had $10,000, I wouldn't be living in a basement apartment. I'm so angry at her that I'm ready to literally slap the out of her. We have a very hate-on-hate relationship.
Every single thing that I say is true.
At this moment, I'm not the liar. Kayla is 100% the liar.
I haven't seen Alicia in about 3 years. I am nervous about seeing Alicia for the first time in a while.
Now I just want Kayla to shut the hell up.
Okay, lessons start right now. She says you're the liar. You're making all this stuff up.
She lied about having cancer. She lied about stealing money.
You say she has the traits of a sociopath. What do you mean?
She has no remorse. She feels no emotion. She has no love. She lies. She steals. When we were going to school, she would make teachers cry. She cut her hair once and then put it on the teacher's desk. I don't know why she did that, but
you said at 18 she had 3 cars. What's your theory about how she got 3 cars?
I'm hoping it's not true, but I do think that it has something to do with men, maybe. She's getting money from older people. Possibly, yes.
Well, she would have to be a really good prostitute.
I think so.
To get 3 cars out of it.
I don't know. I was in one of her cars once, and I asked her, how are you able to maintain all of this? She said, I get money put into my account every week. And she showed me, and it was thousands of dollars every week she was getting put into her account. So I was like, okay, where is this money coming from?
Do you think she was hooked up with sugar daddies?
Possibly, yes.
And so they were maybe cashing her out?
Probably, yeah.
In that way?
Yeah.
Dating guys for money?
Yeah, or maybe drugs. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with that, too. So I don't know why she has so much money and so much wealth.
So why did you want to be here with her?
Because I think that it's been a long time. I've never had a good relationship with my sister. It's been years, and now I think we need to get to the bottom of what's going on. I think I really want to have a relationship with her, and I don't know if we could do it.
Well, Kayla says her sister, Alicia, has been violent since she was very young. Now, Alicia admits she has anger issues. Take a look.
I had anger issues in school. I got into a confrontation with another student. He tried to fight me, so I picked up a bat and I slapped him on the back with it. And then the cops got called, and then I got sent to anger management. When I was in my early teens, I did pick up a pair of scissors to go and stab Kayla.
I believe that she does have some serious anger issues. We got into a heated argument, so I physically slapped her. I went like that. Alicia immediately got angry, and she moved the chairs, and she pushed me and held me and shook me and then pushed me under the table. My anger issues, I can't lie and say they went away. They still come and go.
Alicia, Dr. Phil, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Well, I'm okay. I was just looking at a piece of tape saying that you think, maybe I got anger issues.
Yeah.
What are you angry about?
I just don't like my sister. I feel like we don't have a proper connection, and I don't want it. I'm angry at her for everything that's happened.
What's happened? What is it she's done that's made you angry?
She's just very fake to me. Whether people see it or not, I see it. She's just very disrespectful. I can't. It's just not something that I want to tolerate anymore. Whether it's her trying to pretend like she's my friend and then going out to other people saying something else and twisting the story, or her going to, my dad. If I go to him and say, oh, Dad, Kayla did this, someone's always backing her up.
Well, other than 5 minutes at Christmas, you guys haven't seen each other in 3 years. So
yeah,
you don't hang out.
No, and I want to keep it that way.
Yeah. Why did you come here today?
Because she called me when I was on this mini vacation with somebody, and she asked me if I would be okay with coming here, and I said, why? She then told me she thinks I have issues that I need to solve, and I said, okay, we can go. But I'm telling you, this is my last straw. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, she says, and I'm just telling you what she says.
Yeah.
She says that you have stolen clothes, money, credit cards from the family, that you're just a dishonest, angry, violent person.
I've never once stole a credit card. If I could have proof of that, then that would be great.
When we were younger, you've never stolen money from mom? I've never taken any of her credit cards?
This is why I can't do this, because like I promise you it's not gonna end properly. Because she targets me. I'm not about it. If my parents
I'm just talking the truth. I'm not
here,
targeting you. I'm talking the truth. That's it.
You're not talking the truth. You purposely try to get me in trouble. You are the fakest person I have ever met, Kayla, whether you see it or not. I despise you. I cut her off for a reason, and you're damn hell right. Kayla,
we haven't talked in like so long.
And I thank the Lord for that. Whether people see me as bad or not, Kayla, I can't. You came on this show to make yourself look good.
Are you kidding me? I came on the show to have a relationship with you.
Deanna told me a whole bunch of things.
We're not talking about that. I messaged Dr. Phil so that we could come here and resolve
Kayla.
your issues.
My issues.
We have no relationship, and I want one with you.
I'm so grateful for that.
Why?
I hate you. I hate you. I don't want anything to do with you. I hate you. You are not a sister.
Well, regardless of what she says, I still want to fix this. I still want to work on it.
Did you lie about having cancer?
I did not lie about that.
So you have it.
Can you shut the hell up? I'm not talking to you.
So why do you hate her?
I have my reasons.
Well, why?
Okay, so she'll go around the family making up stuff, saying that I've done certain things that actually haven't happened. I've presented like not documentation, but I presented screenshots to people who have asked me about these things, and what Kayla says doesn't match the story that I have proof for. I don't appreciate things going around if it's not the right fact. I can admit that I've done things wrong, but she acts like she hasn't.
What's the worst thing you've done that if you could take it back, you would?
Everything.
That's impacted your family. What would it be?
I would say literally everything that I've done. I'm not going to pinpoint one. There is no top three. Everything that I've done is just.
Did you lie about having cancer?
I did not lie about that.
So you have it.
Can you shut the hell up? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. You see that, right? I'm not talking to you.
Go ahead.
I didn't lie about it. I can explain to you what happened with that. So I went to the hospital one day because I wasn't feeling good, and I told my mom what was happening, and she told me I should go to the hospital. And she apparently tells me all the time that the hospital is my house. I'm not even there that often. And I had went there and I got like x-rays done. And then the doctor that came in, I'm still working on getting his name, who told me that I had something with ovarian cancer. And then about a week or two later, I was feeling sick, so I went back. And then it was this Chinese doctor or nurse that came up to me, and I asked her about it, and she's like, yeah, there's nothing there. And I was like, okay, so why was I told? And she's like, oh, he might have mixed up your charts. I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. So then I just kept it and I left it. I'm like, okay, whatever.
So how did this doctor tell that you had ovarian cancer?
I did blood work, I did urine tests, and I did x-rays and MRIs. But I don't know how he initially came up with that. I don't know how that works, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so he got your chart mixed up with somebody else's.
That's what the Chinese doctor had told me, yes.
Okay, so they knew that by the time you got back there?
Yes, but nobody failed, like, they failed to inform me.
Nobody bothered to call you and say, oh, by the way, you're not dying?
No, nobody failed to inform me. Or they failed to inform me, sorry. Like, I did not get a call, an email, a text. I didn't get anything. So then I went. That's a
really crummy hospital. If they mix your records up and then they figure it out, but then they don't bother to tell you?
It's messed up because then it makes me feel like it's just stupid. But it's not something I'm going to go around lying about, considering my dad had prostate cancer. That's not something I'm going to do.
Do you get along with your stepmother or anyone in your family?
I get along with my dad because that's the only person I care to get along with. I cared at one point to get along with my stepmom, but I've given up. Don't talk to me.
Can I bring up something?
Yeah, you can speak. You don't need her permission.
Okay, perfect. So there was a time that I was living away for school, and I was at work one day, and Alicia had come to my house unexpectedly. And she brought her Jeep and then ended up crashing it in front of my house, and then got another one the same day. But Alicia was 18 years old. 18. So I don't understand. Like, I've never seen her, like, do a driving test, get a license. Like, I don't know why she had 3 cars at one time. That doesn't make sense. Like, can you even afford insurance?
It's not me.
Like, what kind of job do you have? See? Who was paying for it then?
I told them this, and I'm going to tell you, I don't care. I'm not ashamed of my life.
I care because why?
Why? Let me ask you one question. Why do you care so much about what I do if you never bothered to talk to me for 3 years?
Because you are my sister.
Stop pointing at
and
me.
a lot of people come up to me.
I find it disrespectful. Please do not point at me.
A lot of people come up to me and talk to me about Alicia, whether it's family, friends, etc.
So let them talk. Let them talk. Like, people are allowed to use their mouth.
Another example, I was in the Caribbean. I was visiting family, and I got a message on my phone saying that Alicia has my manager's phone. And she said that she was going to fix it, but she ended up keeping it. Is there any way that you can talk to her and get the phone back?
What are you talking about?
And I said...
What, you're a phone repairman?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Alicia had my friend's phone, yes.
Whose
and I have
phone did I have?
She had one of my friend's manager's phones.
To fix it?
To fix it.
I didn't have anybody's phone.
Okay, hang on. We got to take a break. Even though Alicia says she doesn't get along with her stepmother, I would like to meet her. So I'm going to invite Diane to join us. And then the one person that she says she does get along with is here too, and we're going to meet him in just a little bit. We'll be right back.
I believe Alicia gets some of the things she has through criminal methods like drugs or prostitution. We barely believe anything Alicia says. If she says the sky's blue, we look up.
Diane, my stepmom does tend to take Kayla's side. My stepmom's fake. She's fake. I love her, but she's fake. Called her a bitch, and she grabbed me by my neck, pushed me against the wall. That messed me up. It shocked me. It's not something I'm gonna forget. I still hold on to it. It's messed up to do to a child, especially if it's not your kid.
Well, Alicia says that she's the black sheep because her family has always favored her older sister, Kayla. Now, their stepmom, Diane, says Alicia lies, and she suspects her former lavish lifestyle was funded by criminal means. She says some people grow out of their troubles, but Alicia has grown into them. Take a look at what she says, and we'll meet her.
The things that Alicia does that makes me most angry is lying, and it hurts people. We barely believe anything Alicia says. If she says the sky's blue, we look up. I've seen her driving expensive cars, wearing designer clothes, and having a lot of cash on hand. When we ask Alicia about where these things come from, she lies about it. I believe Alicia gets some of the things she has through criminal methods like drugs or prostitution. She could end up dead or in jail. It really scares all of us. Alicia has stolen things from me in past. She's stolen watches, a ring. She's stolen my car keys. She's taken money from my debit account and stolen clothes. We don't have proof, but we know Alicia did it. I don't trust Alicia in my home when I'm not there. My husband and I asked Alicia to leave our home at the age of 17. Alicia was physically abusive at times. At one point, we were driving in a car and Alicia unbuckled her seat and came to the front of the car and slapped me across the head while I was driving on the highway. I might have slapped Alicia for something that came out of her mouth. Nothing I would not have done to any of my other children. I do choose sides between Alicia and Kayla because I know who Alicia is, and I know that she's probably not telling the truth. It's really difficult to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us, Dr. Phil.
Are you concerned about?
I'm really concerned about Alicia.
Why?
First of all, we were texting kindly and sweetly all night.
I know, I'm fine. I'm not mad at you. I'm asking you.
You said that before the show that you don't like
I'm not talking to you. Respect that, please.
I'm concerned, yes.
I'm concerned too.
I'm sorry?
I'm concerned, yes.
Okay, and you're concerned that she is involved in criminal activity?
I'm concerned with the track her life is taking, and some of the things, yes, look like they could be.
How do you make money?
I have a job.
What do you do?
Telecommunications. I do phone surveys.
Does that pay pretty well? I've never done it.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Is that why you insisted on coming out with your phone?
No, I just didn't really feel comfortable doing this. So my phone is just for my sake.
What do you
I just want it on me. I don't feel like that should be a problem.
In case she needs to call for help or something?
Sure. We can go with that.
No, I mean...
I just wanted it on me. That's just how I am. I don't leave anywhere without my phone. I don't trust anybody with it. That's just how I am.
Well, you don't want to leave it behind.
I've had my phone get stolen by other people.
You don't expect to use it. You just don't want to leave it somewhere that you don't know
I'm not going to use it.
We have pretty good security here.
I trust you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I got my own phone. I promise I'm not going to steal your phone.
Okay, that's good. It's a start.
Did you feel like you were making your husband picked between you and his daughter?
At times I have felt like that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has she been put in a role of the black sheep?
Don't lie.
I think Alicia put herself there.
Yes, I agree.
Well, come on. This is an interactive situation. Whatever's going on here, it's not all about her. This is a family dynamic.
Absolutely.
Whatever situation she's in, she didn't create it all by herself.
No. Well, in being a family dynamic, I have 3 children before I got married to Ron, and when I thought this wouldn't be an issue bringing up 2 other girls, and she creates a family dynamic that's not useful. That doesn't help us to flow smoothly. Like if we were already becoming a combined family, and Alicia lying and stealing and causing disruption in the family didn't help that situation.
Well, kids do dumb things sometimes as they're growing up. Have there been times you've done really dumb things?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie and say I haven't.
Did you steal her car keys?
And I took my dad's keys and his watch. I'm not going to lie.
And
why
jewelry?
I did it?
Debit card, yeah.
I never took money off your card, though.
Yes, she has.
Alicia.
I haven't.
She has.
I actually have. Where's your proof? No, stop. Stop. Where's your proof that I did that? Because I can tell you, I haven't lied throughout this whole trip. I can talk to her. I'm expressing my emotions. How are you going to tell me what I can say?
I physically took you to 3 stores and
you
asked
also
them,
bust me in my lip. Remember that?
No, but that's a different issue.
No,
and
it's not.
First of all, it's not true, but you're trying to
You are trying to make it centered around me. What about what you did?
That I took you to the stores
She
physically.
raised you.
You failed as a sister too, Kayla.
She raised you. I cannot have a relationship with you because of how you are.
So why did you call Dr. Phil?
Because I need help. I need you to
Good,
get help.
I'm
because
glad
before
you
you
need help.
die, before you get raped, before you
How do you know I
hurt-
haven't already? How do you know I haven't gotten raped? Why are you just talking? Watch what you say. How about that? You don't know my life story, nor do you, nor does my father.
Why don't we?
That's why we're here.
Because I hate all of you. I hate you and I hate you. I tried to love you, okay? I tried. I tried to reach out to you, have I not?
Did you hate me last night while we were texting? And you
I'm
said you loved
not
me?
gonna, I'm being nice to you.
And it's always this
So
kind
who's
of
fake
mood.
now?
I said I love you, but you're fake.
No, you didn't say that.
Actually, Dr. Phil, did I not say that on the video?
The text last
Okay.
night.
The text.
The text I was fine with. I meant what I
being
said. I
fake?
said expect what I had to say.
You
I said I'm prepared. If I have my phone on me, I will gladly pull it out.
Pull that up.
Great.
The text
I know
you
what
sent
I
to me
told
last
you, Mom.
night.
See, there's
I
good that you have
carry.
your phone.
This is why we have it.
She brought that.
I told you. Hold on. I told you guys, don't worry about it. I said you'll be surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I said, look, I'm not gonna lie. I hated everyone at one point. I'm not lying. Okay. I said, I told you guys I love you. I appreciate you. No matter what, you drive me up the wall.
I love you. I appreciate you.
I said it in the
now
thing
you
that I
hate
still
us?
love
You're
you.
sounding fake. Now you're sounding
Kayla, shut
fake.
the up. You can beat me out for that. It's fine.
See, like it's always like
No,
this.
because
this
no,
is why I
Kayla,
can't have
you
a relationship
target me.
with you.
Why
I'm
would
trying
they
to help so I
target
can-
you?
You're not trying to help. You know what you're trying to do, Kayla? She's trying to make herself look good like she's always done. Kayla's not a sister.
Coming up, what does Alicia's father have to say about being torn between his 2 daughters? We'll meet him next.
When there's a fight between Kayla and Alicia, Diane is more comfortable on Kayla's side. I usually be neutral.
I have some issues with how my dad handles the situations with Alicia. My dad enables Alicia. This is one of the Facebook posts that Alicia put out there, basically saying family. My family will go out and say absolutely nothing to me, and all you people wonder why I stayed away from you. You guys treat me like I'm nothing. Next time you guys ask me where I am and I avoid you, look at the post and wonder why I stay away. Thanks, my so-called family. That is all nonsense. People are staying away because they're scared and they don't trust her. She is trying to get attention through social media. She tends to do that a lot.
I have a lot of things I want to say to you people right now. Oh my God.
Stepmom Diane says all the accusations are true, and their dad Ronald tries to be impartial. Let's hear what he has to say.
The only connection that Alicia has right now with her family is myself. I'm worried if I harden Alicia the way I want to be, I feel I would lose her. I try to make it as peaceful as I can instead of really dealing with the problem. But at the same time, she's not getting any better. It's a very big burden. When I hear that Alicia hates Kayla, it concerns me to the point that she want to harm her own sister this much. When there's a fight between Kayla and Alicia, Diane is more comfortable on Kayla's side. I usually be neutral.
I have some issues with how my dad handles the situations with Alicia. My dad enables Alicia.
When Alicia was 17, I asked her to leave the home because her attitude was unacceptable and there wasn't any control. I didn't have any choice at the time. I feel guilty. We all made a lot of mistakes and I want to bring my family back together. I'm here because I love her very much. And I want this to work.
Yeah, don't fake upset.
I care so much about her.
I'm done.
I really do.
Finish?
Yeah,
Okay, that's okay.
I love you, Alicia, regardless of everything that's happening today.
I don't care. I don't want to hear it.
I still love you.
I don't care.
I don't care about what you're saying. I still love you.
No, you
I still
don't.
want to help
Kale,
You
it's
love the
okay.
thought of it.
Thank you for being here.
No problem, Dr. Phil.
Tell me how you feel about everything that's being said and transacted here so far.
It's usually as crazy as usual, like what's going on right now. And there's truth and there's a lot of anger. For Alicia to sit here and say that my wife doesn't treat her properly, that's crap.
Name one time that.
Shush, shush, just shush. Okay? You talking just now for them to be shut up because they're not talking to you're not talking to them. So you're not talking now, so you shut up.
Okay. Don't tell me to shut up.
Just shut up.
Don't tell me to shut up.
Whatever.
Guys, just relax, please.
This situation has gone chaos. We all tried. We all tried to do the best we can. I admit there's times when I was not serious with Alicia because, as I mentioned in the video, as a father, I feel, well, I don't want it to be sides or trying to divide the love between the two of them. I love both of them the same. There's no different. But I can't sit here and you going on cussing.
So you don't want me to be honest?
I am not speaking to you. Let me finish.
Then don't talk.
Just keep going.
This is a situation.
Just keep going.
I respect my daughter for doing this because for me, I appreciate what she done, and that's why I'm here today.
Well,
Whatever reasons Alicia feels that she hit her sister for, I have no idea. And I think she has the wrong opinion of why we're here today.
Okay, Dad.
What do you hope to see happen?
Well, I was hoping that everybody get along, they develop a relationship,
That's what I hope too.
forget about everything, and start anew because I think, as you mentioned earlier, this is a family that needs to help, and we all have a part to play in it. I think I let a lot of stuff just go under the carpet without...
You always hit me and not Kayla?
Listen.
No. Answer the question.
I'm not here to deny anything. I did what I had to do at the time when I was a single parent, and I failed in many ways. But I'm not here today to bash anybody or to put you down or we to be putting on each other. We are here because we come here to see what help we can get for you.
This was the wrong decision.
You need a lot of help. And
Kayla,
the only way I can have a relationship with Alicia is if she gets the help that she needs because we've tried therapists.
Well, you don't want to talk to them, so let me talk to you.
Because you guys, basically forced me to.
Let me talk to you.
Go ahead.
You don't want to talk to them, so talk to me.
I'm fine. I don't want to talk to her. I don't mind talking to my mom, but I don't want to talk to Kayla.
Okay, well, talk to me.
Sounds great.
You can't have any big angst with me because we just met.
Exactly.
I may run afoul pretty quick, but so far, I'm just curious why you're giving these people so much power in your life.
What do you mean?
They dominate you. They control you. They have they have complete control. They have you under their thumb. You give them the ability to make you insane. Why do you give her so much power?
I don't, but he...
No, yes, you do.
I try not to. Every time I try to stop it, he has something to say.
You are full of rage and anger and bitterness, and no one, everybody thinks that when you're angry, that all of a sudden you're big and strong and tough. Let me tell you, you're never weaker than when you're angry, because you're only angry when you feel victimized. And so you're at your weakest point. I don't understand why you give these people so much power in your life. You say, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. You care totally, or you wouldn't be so upset.
I'm upset for different reasons. They say that I'm this bad person, but it's funny because every time that anybody has needed me, I've been there.
So would it be accurate to say that you feel unappreciated?
I feel so unappreciated. Like, my friends have even told me maybe I should just cut my family off because they're not going to change, because clearly they think I'm not going to change. Why bring me here if you think I'm not going to change?
Because of how you're acting right now.
I'm not allowed to be upset?
You're allowed to be, but look how you're talking to my dad.
Look how you were talking to me, though. Okay. It goes around, Kayla. Like, you're not allowed to just talk to me and pretend you're nice to me. You're not
listening because for the first time, she is being authentic instead of angry. And I have a pivotal question for you that I think can turn this entire thing around if you have the courage to answer it honestly. I'm going to ask it after the break.
I've never experienced having a little sister. And Alicia's made it so difficult growing up. I love her so much, and I'm really hurt. Deep down, I know that there's somebody in there that's true to herself and true to other people.
Well, Kayla and her sister Alicia both agree on one thing: they cannot get along. And I said that all fingers are pointed towards Alicia here. And I also said that's inaccurate. You're the squeaky wheel. And I'm saying that you are a symptom of a dysfunctional family. And for everybody to point a finger at you, which is really easy because you've made some really bad choices, right? And it's hard for you to say that in front of her and him because it's hard to have a face-saving way to say to people that are being critical of you, yes, I've made some bad mistakes, because when you do, then they're going to leap on that and say, see there? So it's really hard to do that in a face-saving way, right? But I said I had a pivotal question for you. And the pivotal question is a what-if question. What if you're not angry at all? What if, instead of being angry, you're really hurt? What if, instead of being angry, you are really damaged emotionally by what you perceive and have experienced to happen? Anger is the get them before they get you emotion. You go through life like this. It's all right, like, I'm going to get you before you get me because I know you're damn sure going to get me. So I'm going to go through life like this. And boy, if you get close to me, pop! I'm going to get you before you get me because I know you'll get me if I don't. And that's a safe way to go through life. Lonely, but safe way to go through life. You get them before they get you. And here's the problem. People are similar in this way. You know what the number one fear is in all people?
No, but I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me.
Yes, I am. The number one fear in all people is rejection. The number one need is acceptance. Everybody wants to feel like they belong somewhere. And you don't feel like you belong with these people, do you?
Not at all.
You feel like there's them and you.
Yeah.
So you're on one side, they're on the other.
It's basically me against them.
Exactly. She doesn't feel like she's accepted by you people. She doesn't feel like it. And so she starts to do things to lash out. Has she lied? Yeah. Has she stolen? Yes. Has she done things to hurt and lash out? Of course she has. Why? Because she's going to get you before you get her again.
Dr. Phil, could I ask a question?
No, you can't ask a question. You need to listen to what I'm telling you right now. You're rude and obnoxious. So why do I like you?
I don't know. But I know you can tell me.
Have you ever heard people say, you don't want to reach out to a wounded and cornered animal? Yes. You ever heard that? Yeah. You get a dog or something that's been wounded and they backed into a corner and you want to reach out and pet them? Bad idea. Why? Because they don't understand the intent of your reaching out. So what are they going to do? They're going to bite your ass. They're going to bite you every time. It's called reflexive biting. And what you're seeing out of her is reflexive biting. And you've been seeing it for a long, long time. You've been seeing it when she was 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. You've seen it at school. You've seen it with babysitters. You've seen it with family. Because she's learned to see the world as a very hurtful place. Anger is just an outward manifestation of hurt, fear, and frustration. That's all it is. Anger's not really a genuine emotion. You don't hate her. You don't even hate her. You just feel judged by her. You feel put down by her. You feel looked down on by her, condescended to by her. You think she thinks she's better than you.
Yeah, basically.
Tell me if I run a red light here.
No, you're still going green.
If she didn't love you, why do you think she would give 2 damns what you think?
I don't know.
Do you think she cares what the guy down at the 7-Eleven thinks of her?
No.
No. Why? Because she doesn't love him. She loves you. And therefore, when you judge her, when you criticize her, that hurts because she's invested in you. She wants your acceptance. She wants you to not judge her.
I want to accept her too, but it's just so hard. Like, I've tried so many
You don't have to accept her behavior, but you can accept her. And then you can work on those things together. You don't have to love everything about someone to love them. There are things people do that you don't have to like. That doesn't mean that you don't love them.
Definitely. I agree.
But you judge her conduct, you judge her behavior, and you forget that behind it all is a human being with feelings and wants and needs. We'll be right back. You can be really obnoxious, right?
Very.
Yeah. So why do I like you?
I don't know.
That's a puzzle, isn't it? I mean, really, you're rude and obnoxious, so why do I like you?
I don't know. But I know, again, you're going to tell me.
No, well, why would I like you when you're rude and obnoxious?
I don't know, but I know you can tell me.
Yeah. You want me to tell you, don't you?
I really want you to tell me.
Because it's a puzzle, isn't it? God, how could he? Right? Because, I mean, you're very prickly. You're like trying to hug a porcupine. Right? But you have a really nice smile, and you really have a nice laugh. So, I mean, you're really a nice person. You're just really rude and obnoxious.
Oh, my God.
But you do that to protect yourself. And the reason that I really like you, I'll tell you why, is because I look past that. I look past the anger and look behind it and see what's back there. And what I see is somebody that's wounded, somebody that's hurt. There is really power in forgiveness. There's really power in forgiveness. There's power in forgiveness, first of yourself, because you're really angry with yourself. You've made some really bad decisions. You're really angry with yourself. And there's power in forgiveness. If you forgive yourself and say, look, you've done some really dumb things. That was then, this is now. I can hit the reset button and start over. But you need to take care of you. And you need to heal these open wounds in yourself and give yourself a fresh start. And I want to get you some help with that. Not as a group, just you. With that, they don't even know anything about it. You don't have to tell them a damn thing. Just you. Because when you turn loose of that burden of that anger, you're going to be astounded at how different the world looks to you.
Okay.
Fair enough? Okay? All right. So, be patient. Let some of these things happen. And I think you might be really surprised at who winds up being the leader in taking this family out of this maze. Just be patient. I want to thank all of my guests today. I hope they trust the advice I've given them. My Twitter follower, Emma Russick, tweeted, The only doctor I trust is Dr. Phil. Well, thank you. I hope you don't have any children, because you probably need a pediatrician or something, so you can pick one of those too. Who knows, I may share your comment next. Be sure and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, because I do read what you guys say, every damn word of it. We'll see you next time.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I laid down in bed and haven't been able to get up.
He's been living in this bed, not for a week, not a month, but 5 years.
And Mom does everything for him.
He even cleans his urinal because he doesn't want to get up and walk to the bathroom.
But if I don't do it, he doesn't do it.
You said this is the end, and then you laid your happy ass down and you haven't gotten up since.
He'll lay there and die.
I know what's wrong with him. What I don't understand is what's wrong with you. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Thank you. Okay. Look at this bed. Looks comfy, clean, maybe good for a quick nap, right? But not for Jess, because he's been living in this bed, not for a week, not a month, but 5, count them, 5 years. Now imagine not getting up to go to work, not getting up for dinner, not even getting up to go to the bathroom. He can walk, he can run, he can do whatever. He's emailed me 14 times. He's had plenty of time to type it out, asking me to help him with his life and really to start a new one. Well, he's come to the right place. Take a look.
I'm laying here in my bed. That's my whole world, where I live. It's been 5 years now, and this is where I spend my life. I don't know how to get up anymore. I don't know how to live anymore.
Well, Jess' mother, Sue, says she does everything for her son. Now, when I say everything, I mean everything. She brings him food, cold drinks, she washes his sheets, and even cleans his urinals. I said urinals because he doesn't want to get up and walk to the bathroom. So he has urinals at the bedside. Well, you got to see this. Just take a look.
I've been practically living in my bed for the past 5 years at my mother's house.
My son Jess stays in bed in his room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How you doing, Jess?
I had a fiance that I was madly in love with, and we had a messy breakup. That was the end. I laid down in bed and haven't been able to get up.
He had a job with a very reputable company. He couldn't keep it because he couldn't get out of bed and go to work.
My muscles have atrophied in the past 5 years. I've gained 120 pounds, and it really crushes me. I've only been out of bed about a dozen times in the past 5 years. I got up to come to California because Dr. Phil doesn't make house calls. I've been in LA for the past 48 hours, and I've been in bed for about 42 of those hours. My hygiene is off the charts bad.
Sometimes I've seen him go as many as 6-7 days without a bath. Once,
Maybe twice a week, I get up to go to the restroom and to bathe.
Jess sleeps 8 to 10 hours a day, or he doesn't sleep for days at a time.
I lay in a dark room and smoke my e-cigarette and just think about everything horrible that's ever happened in my life. My room is set up conveniently. I have a mini fridge that I keep stocked with snacks and food. I don't have to get up for anything. I have portable urinals, and I just sit up like this, use the urinal, set it down, and lay back down.
Every day I have to empty the portable urinals And here we have Jess's urinals, and we usually have an argument about it. I have a routine that I do every day, then I usually don't see him again for hours.
My mom begrudgingly and sometimes spitefully does everything for me. She brings me food, drinks, mops, she does my laundry.
He sends me text messages during the day, like, will you pick me up some drinks on the way home? Can I have pizza for dinner? Taking care of my son is a full-time job. I live in fear that my son is dying before my eyes. Sometimes when I don't hear him or hear his TV on, I'm afraid to open the door because I'm afraid he's going to be dead.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. How about you?
Very much so.
You glad you're here?
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
How you feel?
I'm exhausted. It's been everything I could do to get here.
You would have preferred the house call. Seriously?
Yeah, but, you know, that's asking a little too much.
No, that's asking a lot. How do you feel about being here?
Nervous, afraid that you're going to make me cry.
Yeah, you're going to cry.
See? Oh, I knew you were going to do this to me.
There are going to be tears of joy because you're getting ready to get out of jail.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Listen, what do you want?
I am here because I have exhausted every resource I have. I just can't seem to function. I can't seem to cope. I'm hanging on by the frayed edges of my pitiful rope, and I just can't take it anymore. I'm terrified that I'm going to die laying in that bed. I love my mom, but our relationship is toxic as it is right now.
Yeah, because you couldn't cripple him anymore if you were hitting him in the knees with a bat.
She's very spiteful and resentful and doesn't like to talk to me at all. We argue.
Yeah, so she didn't come in like a cheerleader to empty your urinals.
When you put it that way, no, she doesn't.
Why would Jess get out of bed? He's got a 50-inch TV, video game console, 20 games, a mini fridge right by his bed with sodas, sports drinks, salad, fruit cups, lunch snacks. Then he's got snacks, fig bars, cakes, crackers, chips. Nightstand, he's got chargers, laptops, urinals top of the dresser, coffee pot next to the bed, 2 cats that come by every day. Mom brings him breakfast, dinner, buys him snacks, cleans the bedroom, empties the urinals, runs his bath water, takes him to doctor's appointments, feeds the cats, does his laundry, dusts the rooms, and mops the floors.
Yes.
Hell, I want to go to bed.
I was thinking the same thing.
You really, wouldn't you like that?
Hey.
If you had somebody to do all that for you?
Well, for
do you think that's reasonable and fair?
No, sir, I don't. I just have completely, over the past 5 years, lost my ability to function.
Or you've chosen not to function?
For about the first year, I wondered that, and then it just became inability.
Well, I kind of made a profile of your life to look at based on your view. And here's what jumped out at me. You said you had a messy breakup. And when you had that breakup, you said, and I quote, "It's the end." We believe ourselves when we tell ourselves things, right? We believe what we tell ourselves. You didn't say, oh, rough patch. You didn't say, this is going to be hard. You said, this is the end.
Yes, sir.
And then you laid your happy ass down and you haven't gotten up since.
No, sir, I haven't.
Right?
I felt unable to.
Because you believe what you said. Then you said that, I hadn't been able to get up. You didn't say I don't get up. You said I hadn't been able to get up, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you said, Mom begrudgingly, spitefully does everything for me.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, food, drinks, laundry, pizza, mops. She doesn't bring you maps, she brings you mops. She doesn't bring you maps because you ain't going a damn place. You're staying in bed. Maybe if she brought you maps, we'd be better off. Listen, I know what's wrong with him. I figured that out the first 10 minutes I was studying this case. What I don't understand is what's wrong with you.
That's my only child, my only son, and I can't turn my back on him.
So why are you abusing him this way?
I don't mean to be. He'll lay there and die. He needs help.
I want your help desperately, Dr. Phil.
Well, we're going to find out. Coming up, Jess says his mother is controlling and actually does not want him to get out of bed. He says she wants him to stay there. She wants to control him and know where he is so she can feel safe with him right there, that she's actually doing all this for her, not for him. Is that true? Well, we'll find out after the break.
She treats me like I am 12 years old. I believe that she'd be a lot happier if I never got out of bed and left that house.
One time he sent me a text message and told me that he was going to have me arrested for Munchausen syndrome.
My parents getting divorced when I was 3 years old was the beginning of my mental issues. After the divorce, my mom dated a lot of men, and these men were mostly abusive. At the age of 8, I started drinking beer and smoking cigarettes. At age 14, I started going wild partying. That was the beginning of my party life.
Once he got into his teenage years, he started getting into trouble. I wasn't really worried because I was kind of a little wild as a teenager too.
She was living her life. I was on my own to do whatever I wanted to do.
Well, Jess says despite a chaotic upbringing, he was able to achieve a 4.0 in college, have a successful life with a nice home, had a pool, good job. But it all ended 5 years ago after a bad breakup. He says he lost all coping skills and thinks his mother really might like it that way.
My mother likes to be controlling because she's a control freak. She treats me like I am 12 years old.
I always taught him right from wrong. I always kept a roof over our head. I always did everything I could for him. One time he sent me a text message and told me that he was going to have me arrested for Munchausen syndrome. When I looked it up, I was devastated. I've never done anything to him but want him to be better.
Once in a blue moon, I will get up, pull myself out of bed just to go sit on the patio or to see my cats. And she will say, "Where do you think you're going?" Like I'm going to a liquor store or something in my underwear.
Hey, Jess, where are you going?
I'm just going to the horse store for my cats. They don't sell liquor out there. What are you worried about? I believe that she'd be a lot happier if I never got out of bed and left that house.
If Jess really believes that I want him to be in my house and I want to take care of him, he is absolutely crazy.
Do you recognize that what you're doing is not working?
Yes, sir, but the parts that they're not showing is the times that I did throw him out, the times that he almost did kill himself.
Well, we got a problem, Mom. Because I just asked you if you realize what you're doing is not working, and you said yes. When people say but, they really mean forget everything I just said. I'm now going to tell you what I really think. So you don't really believe what you're doing is wrong. You just told me what you said but and told me what you really think. What you really think is what you're doing is working. You think you're keeping him alive. You think you're the one thing that is his lifeline, and without you, he's gone.
He can't function in a normal situation. He doesn't think like you. He doesn't think like me.
Well, I need to make a note because I was confused. I thought you were here looking for some new answers. You're actually here to defend what you've been doing.
Well, no, I just want you to understand the whole story.
You don't think I've prepared for today?
You're gonna, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you have. You're a professional. I'm here for your help, but I just want I just want you to understand how hard I have tried to prepare him.
You're sure that I've done my homework?
Yes.
Because I'm a professional.
Yes, you are.
But you want to tell me, because
Just what I've been doing.
yeah, because I don't know, because I haven't done my homework. I didn't read everything that you've told us. I haven't listened to the interviews. I haven't studied the tapes from both of you. Did you withhold information from us?
I can't remember. I've talked to so many people so many times. I can't
I've
remember.
read every word you said to everybody you talked to.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm telling you right now, I would not be here if I wasn't reaching out for help for my son and myself.
But you want to waste time defending what you've been doing, which isn't working, instead of spending time with me telling you what you need to do instead of what you've been doing. That's what we're spending our time on.
I'm sorry.
What you're doing isn't working, right?
Correct.
What you're doing isn't working, right?
No, sir, it's not at all.
It needs to change.
Very badly.
I'm going to talk about what they need to do next, very specifically. This is not a mystery to me. We'll be right back. You got a piece of good news?
Yes.
You've mopped your last floor in his room. You've brought him his last pizza. You've emptied your last urinal. Stop right now. Okay, don't forget to check out my Fill in the Blanks podcast, where I've just started a new series called Relationship Reality Check. Now, here's a question. How much fun are you to live with? Think about it. We are all a life manager, and we have one client. That's us. How you doing on managing your life? Because if you've managed yourself into misery, boredom, bankruptcy, bad health, if it was somebody else, you'd fire their ass. But you can't fire yourself, so that means you just got to do a better job. Look, I believe in the principle of reciprocity. You get what you give from this world. And we all have a core consciousness where we really understand what we believe. And I'm going to talk about what I call some drop-dead deal breakers in relationships. There are some times you're ready to walk away. We're going to talk about what those things are. So this is a brand new series that comes out every Tuesday. It's free. It's available on Apple Podcast. Has everyone been listening to mine? Raise your hand if you're not. What the hell? All right, who's got my podcast loaded? You have it?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're safe. How about you?
I told her she was in
All right,
trouble.
do you know how to do it?
Yes.
Where's your little microphone? Let me tell you how this works. On your phone or your iPad, click on this little purple icon. You see it on the screen? This is the free podcast app that comes with your phone. All right, click on it, and then click on the magnifying glass. Okay, type in fill in the blanks. It's PHIL in the blanks. And then click search. See the picture? And then you hit the subscribe button. Then every time one drops, it just sends you a little message and says a new one is out. Okay, let's try it again. All right, go back and push on the little magnifying glass and type in, I've got a secret. You see the little icon that comes up with Robin's picture? And then click subscribe on that. Now you're listening to the cutest couple in America. Okay? You can also find these on Stitcher, CastBox, Spotify, and your favorite podcast app. And you can get more information about all of the podcasts on drphilpodcast.com. All right, back to the show.
Well, I've tried tough love with my son over the years. I threw him out and tried to make him go have a life.
My mom didn't kick me out. I left my friend's house because they got evicted.
He lived on the streets like a bum. He drank, did drugs, got beaten up. And if I don't do anything, he comes to my house and he cries and sleeps on the porch.
I was homeless. I had nowhere else to go, and I took an air mattress and laid in an old trailer out in the woods till my mom gave in.
Just as my son, I love him. He tears at my heart to the point where I can't take it anymore, and I let him back in.
So you got a piece of good news?
Yes.
You've emptied your last urinal, if you listen to me. You've mopped your last floor in his room. You've brought him his last pizza. That needs to end right now. Zip, zero, stop right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I want to introduce you to Coach Mike Baer. He's a life coach. He's the CEO of Cast Centers, and he focuses on helping his clients break free of destructive patterns that aren't yielding the results that they want. Mike, come on up, if you will. Welcome, Coach Mike Baer. Mike is a New York Times best-selling author. His book is called Best Self, Be You Only Better. Part of what has to happen is he's got to behave his way to success, correct?
He just definitely needs to behave his way to success. I mean, he needs a life reboot in every aspect of his life. Because right now there is not much of a life.
You're talking about just simple things day to day, right?
Simple things. I would have someone come to your house, take you for a walk every day, have a coach checking in with you, setting some goals, setting boundaries with your mom. I mean, you've admitted this is not where you want to be in your life.
Do you want to get out of bed?
I do, absolutely. I just don't know how anymore.
This is you before you went to bed. Let me tell you what I think needs to happen. You want to know what I think needs to happen?
Absolutely.
I want to introduce you to Dr. Kaligi right here. This is Dr. Kaligi, and this lovely lady next to him is also Dr. Kaligi.
Hi.
They're not twins. They're father and daughter. Sure. And Dr. Farah Kaligi on the right is the clinical director of Creative Care, which is a dual diagnosis treatment center here in Calabasas. And I think the first thing that needs to happen is we need to get a baseline on you. We need to get you off of all medications, which require medical supervision to do that. But it would not surprise me if you don't need any medications. I don't know. But this is something that you guys can detox him, whether they're prescription meds or otherwise. You can take him back to baseline, do some evaluations physiologically, psychologically, and figure out exactly where he is, correct?
Like Dr. Phil said, the baseline evaluation to see what you're on, what for, and see if it's working. Clearly it's not, because you're basically being bedridden for 5 years.
And while he's gone, we need to do some work with you. And I am going to arrange a therapist for you. And I'm going to do it through Doctor On Demand. And Doctor On Demand is a company that my son Jay started, and I'm involved in it, where you can actually have a regular scheduled therapist that you can see from the comfort of your own home. Because there's going to be a big void in your life when you stop waiting on him 24/7. And you're going to love where this is headed.
Oh, I can't even tell you how much I'm
Okay? All right. And look, if you at home want your own Doctor On Demand, just go to Google Play Store or iTunes App Store, and you can download the Doctor On Demand app, and you can see medical doctors, you can see therapists or whatever. Coming up, we're going to meet another mother who says she's brokenhearted, embarrassed, and scared to death for her 31-year-old son. She'll tell us why when we come back.
Robert been in and out of prison.
I've always been a problem child.
Robert was suspended 22 times.
I wanted to be the badass.
He's already been arrested for 3 felonies. If he gets in trouble again, he will get 25 to life.
We're getting ready to talk to Robert. Now, he's 31 years old, and he has not seen his mother, Lynn, in 5 years until a day ago when she dropped off a toothbrush. She says he has spent most of the last decade in prison for stupid things like stealing cigarettes and throwing eggs at a car. Now, she's worried if he gets in trouble again, he's looking at 25 years in prison because of the third strike rule. Take a look.
My son Robert is very impulsive. Even as a kid, he was very mean-spirited. Robert was like a Tasmanian devil. He was always throwing things and kicking things. He's been arrested several times and been in and out of jail and prison.
I've always been a problem child. I feel like the outcast. I'm the bad apple.
When Robert was 3 years old, he was kicked out of daycare. He was putting children's shoes in the toilets. He was tearing heads off the dolls. Throughout grade school and high school, Robert was suspended 22 times.
I didn't really have any care for people's feelings or their property. I wanted to be the badass. I wanted to be different. Once I graduated, I joined the military to make my mom and dad proud.
His dad and I were really very proud of him for probably the first time ever.
I became a party animal. I had charges for wrongful use of cocaine, drunk on duty, and disobey a commissioned officer.
8 months later, he was kicked out of the Army for drug use and for going AWOL. We brought him back home with us. Within a few weeks, we noticed that he had stolen my husband's wedding band, my diamond earrings, and my tennis bracelet. We kicked him out because we couldn't trust him, and he was doing drugs.
I've been arrested 7 times and gone to prison 3 times.
The first time he was arrested, he robbed a guy at knife point.
I would have never used the knife. The whole point was just to scare him.
He got arrested again for burglarizing a cottage.
I got 4 years in prison for it.
8 months later, he violated parole again by getting a DWI. He went back to prison again for a year. He's already been arrested for 3 felonies. My understanding is if he gets in trouble again, he will get 25 to life.
Well, you're really concerned he's going to go to prison.
Again.
And this time for a long stretch. Are you a criminal?
Yes.
I mean, is that who you have become? I mean, are you just a criminal?
I don't like to believe so. All 7 of my arrests, I was intoxicated. I've never been arrested sober. I've never broken the law sober.
How'd you hurt your hand?
I got drunk and I had an argument over the phone, and I punched the windows at my hotel.
When did this happen?
Last night.
Oh, so you punched the windows at our hotel where we put you?
I did.
So you got drunk while you were out here to get help from me?
I was scared to death we wouldn't even make it here today.
You're on parole, and so you're not allowed to leave the state, but your parole officer made an exception so you could come here today.
That's correct.
And you came out here and got drunk in the hotel, punched out the windows. I'm guessing the hotel probably kicked you out.
They did.
I wanted to control this interaction since you hadn't seen each other for 5 years because I didn't want things to trigger. And so we asked you not to interact with him until you were here, but you ignored our request to do so and went to see him.
I had brought a toothbrush and toothpaste for him in swimming trunks. We decided that I would just come there just to drop the items off to him. And that was it. I hadn't seen him since.
So you completely disregarded our request and did what you wanted to do. Because they've got toothbrushes at the hotel where he's staying. They've got swimming trunks at the hotel where he's staying. They've also got a front desk where you can drop those items off and not interact with him. So you just completely disregarded what we requested you to do.
I'm sorry.
You're pretty lucky they called us instead of the police.
Yeah.
Because that's destruction of property.
Criminal mischief again.
Coming up, Lynn says she blames herself for how Robert turned out. What could she have done differently? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Last summer, I was still in prison, and my sister had passed. I hold a little resentment that they were here for that and didn't think to see me. That really did bother me and piss me off.
We were so busy trying to make the arrangements for the funeral, I was unable to go to visit Robert in prison, and my husband had forgotten his diabetes medication.
I was told the neighbor's lawn that they take care of was getting long and they had to get back to maintain it. There's ways to obtain insulin in other states when you travel if you need to.
Robert spent most of his 20s incarcerated. He admits he did what he calls stupid things in the past, but he wants his mother to know that he's really not a bad guy and that he has changed. But Lynn says Robert has been really just a Tasmanian devil since day one.
When he was really young, I took him to pediatricians, allergists, neurologists, anybody I could to try to find help. The pediatrician had told me he was very healthy. They didn't see anything physically wrong with him. They told me, ma'am, babies cry. Get used to it. At 2 years of age, the neurologist placed him on Ritalin.
I remember taking the little yellow pills, 3 pills 3 times a day.
I did not like him being placed on Ritalin, but I felt like I had no choice.
She had me at Adderall, Metadate, Concerta.
When they put him on Ritalin, it did help a little. It wasn't a cure-all, but it took the edge off. When he was 16, he was having a pretty good year. I thought he had outgrown the hyperactivity. We took him off the medication. Things went bad from then on.
If you look at the records from 2 to 16, I was in trouble the whole time. So did I really get bad again? I think I was bad the whole time, and I don't think the pills were ever working to begin with.
You be the doctor for a minute. What do you think's going on with you? Why do you think you continue to lose control emotionally, continue to be susceptible to peer pressure, continue to make bad choices, and wind up in prison?
I still feel, I'm gaining slight control over the fact of gaining people's acceptance. However, I like to drink alcohol, and when I do, I make terrible decisions.
Why do you think you're abusing alcohol?
I wish I had the answer for that. When I do drink, I feel good. I feel happy. I feel confident. All the things that I don't feel when I'm sober most of the time.
How do you feel when you don't?
When I don't drink?
Yeah, when you're not high, how do you feel?
Lonely, depressed, anxious, outcast. So I drown myself with the alcohol to not feel that.
Do you think you deserve to be happy?
Like to think so. I probably don't, but I'd like to be. I'd like to think that I could be. And I could just be a normal person and be happy.
Well, I've got a really pivotal question for you in your life. I'm going to ask it right after the break. So why are you here?
I feel like a glutton for punishment sometimes, but I just can't give up. I just keep trying. I want him to be all right. I just want him to be happy and healthy and stop breaking the law. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I said I had a pivotal question for you. If you could write the script for the rest of your life as it's headed right now, what do you think's going to happen? What's in your future? Just nothing changes. You just leave here today and just go on the same trajectory you're on right now. What's that script look like?
I'll probably be dead in 3 years.
From what?
Who knows? I'll probably get drunk and not see it coming.
Mm-hmm. That okay with you?
No, it's not okay with me. It's not what I want for myself. I don't want my parents to continuously be disappointed. I want to do right. I want people to be proud of me. I want them to be happy. I want to feel good about myself. I just don't know how.
You don't want the world, you just want some peace.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. You know what I believe? I believe that in everybody's life, there are critical moments. There are critical moments where you come to a precipice. You come to certain threshold moments where you can make a life decision, where you can make a choice, where all things wrong can be made right. And And those may happen 3 or 4 times by your age. And I believe today can be one of those times in your life. I think there are 4 stages of readiness. And stage 1 is when you make a change because it's been ordered by the court. Stage 2 is when you make a change because you do it to escape criticism. And stage 3, you know you need to do it. You don't feel it, but you just know it. And stage 4 is when you are mentally, emotionally self-motivated to change. It's when you look in the mirror and say, I am so sick and tired of my crap. I'm not going to take this from myself another second, of another minute, of another hour, of another day. I don't care how scary it is on the other side. I'm not taking this from myself anymore. I choose different. I choose different. And you can make that choice today. You deserve to have some help. You deserve to have some help. I think you need a dual diagnosis treatment program where somebody really sits down and customizes a treatment program for you and says, let's figure out who this young man is. Let's figure out how he got where he is. And I'm going to ask you guys to do it. Will you step up and do it for this man?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've been drinking to deal with your anxiety, depression, self-worth, self-esteem. That needs to go. We need to figure out if you need any medication for impulse control and deal with the anxiety and depression and really begin to raise your self-esteem and know exactly what's going to make a difference for you.
This is a day that you can change the rest of your life if you're willing to lean into it, and that's what I'm asking you to do.
I'm 100% willing.
Fair enough?
Thank God. Thank you.
Okay, we're out of time. There's one more thing that I want to say to you. Sitting to your immediate right, look to your right. That's Robert Reams. Robert Reams is a personal and group trainer. He's a certified nutritionist. And I've asked him to come here today because while you're doing what you're doing, you need somebody to teach you how to take care of yourself physically. You need somebody to get you in shape and get you to break a sweat, in addition to what these good folks are doing with you, in addition to the coach that Mike Bair is bringing you. It takes a village, and we're going to surround you. Robert, you can do this with him, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You want to do it?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Thank you.
You ready to work?
Yes. Well, I think they need to help me first to get me where I can work.
Well, you can work.
Okay.
Trust me.
And people don't have to be an athlete to exercise and get in shape, right, Robert?
No, they do not. They just have to have you just want to have the drive and the opportunity, and you're in a good spot.
I want to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Scaligi. Thank the both of you for being here. And I really want to thank Creative Care. Also, a special thanks to personal trainer Robert Reams. He is good. I know he's good because he's my personal trainer. And also, Coach Mike Bair, author of Best Self, Be You Only Better. And if you visit CoachMikeBair.com, you can receive a free personal assessment that will tell you just how ready you are right now to make the changes you want to see in your life. So that's CoachMikeBair.com. And before we go, I'd like to read the comments you leave for me on my social media. Here's a fun one. Aaliyah commented on my Instagram post, Phil, will you be my homecoming date? I didn't know we were on a first name basis. And do you know how old I am? But that's really a question for Robin. I don't know, Robin. No, she doesn't want me to be your your homecoming date. Well, there you go. Thanks for the invite. I'm sure you will have options. Who knows? I may share your comment next. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you next time.
Bán xuống ngắm. Mày sẽ ngồi xem đi, anh sẽ hồi sinh cho chú. Bánh mắt ra mình nhớ người hồi sinh cho mày nha mày. Chuyện bình thường mà. Giờ mới tận hưởng được cảm giác.
Team wipeout. Chưa, mới được có mấy chục cái.
Cái nhiều rồi. Mấy chục cái là nhiều rồi.
Luôn được có 53 cái.
53 cái âm. Dùng 53 cái âm. Nghĩa là 53 cái người nghe bao nhiêu.
53 cái. Để tao
13 nhiều.
Không sao là làm
Oxy.
anh mấy người không quan tâm đến em đi hen, để ngủ mình em chán như con chó.
Chúa thế trước giờ phải con người hả? Ai biết gì đâu. No. Ngu gì? Cái thằng kia tao hồi sinh cho mày xong luôn á. Đặt tên con dog cũng đúng xài quái rồi. Mày chết luôn đi, lừa lòng. Mà cứu mày thì mày lại báo đời để cứu mình thì bất tài vô dụng. Ai ạ. Ok. Được rồi. Tinh tinh.
Help me. Help me.
Đấy, nãy thông báo gì nữa trời.
Help me. Help me.
Biết đâu được đi, do thằng này lười quá anh chịu được. Ok nha.
Help me.
Lại lười quá đấy. Đi làm thì toàn đến trưa mới đến. 9-10 giờ mới có mặt.
Thanks.
ta đang bận rộn. Điên à. Người ta cố ngủ để tiết thời gian đến trưa nhanh nhanh còn nấu cơm cho cháu. Tôi là con người chăm chỉ chứ không có lười.
Good job.
Đoán chết đi em. Mày thoát được chuẩn rồi, tao đéo có dự định hồi sinh cho mày đâu, mày thoát luôn càng tốt, đỡ chật đất. Đây này, chẳng hạn như ở mình đặt mấy quả mì nữa.
Kill. Enemy spotted.
Cái lời của người ta, cách người ta chứ. Không ra nhiều rồi em trời.
Help me.
Tự đặt bom keo thì gì à? Mà đặt cái bom keo ra để nó hồi sinh cho đại ca. Thằng số 3 chết tiệt. Suga là không chết luôn mà. Ê, cái quả đồng đội đéo gì vậy?
Xong rồi hả?
Lát là đúng rồi, nhiều cái đồ ạ. Ok nha. Thôi nha mọi người, tạm thời mình dừng video tại đây nha. Ok. Hôm nay còn
anh thử đi comment một vài món.
chắc là vẫn chicken. Sườn à đúng rồi, qua bảo mà. Qua bảo là hôm qua chicken hay vậy? Áo kia. Hôm nay là sườn thì chính xác. Ui, sorry. Sườn xào chua ngọt, canh chua rất là đẹp.
Anh Long còn không thèm ok em mà chỉ muốn like.
Ok, và nãy giờ mình hơi mất tập trung mà mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn anh em chơi nha. Yo. Xem mọi người bắn rất là hay. Vâng. Ok anh em. Để sẽ xem một lần nữa. Mua được một nè. Mua được cái này này. Tốt rồi. Ok mọi người, để xíu nữa. 930 mai được. Ok, tiền trận vẫn mất 1 phút anh em ạ, rất lâu nha. Oh no. Thế rồi, 2.000 nữa kìa, nhiều thế. Dân này mình không biết là được bao nhiêu anh em ạ. Ok, và mình lại tiếp tục vào trận rồi anh em ơi. Và chúng ta sẽ lại tiếp tục đi săn đồ ha. Hôm nay biệt thự đi cho nó sang giàu. Trước tiên thì phải về đi này. Ok, chiến tại. Hơi nhầm thứ anh Nam ơi. Nhầm.
Tương tác ở đây.
Đấy, mặc đồ này cái kỹ năng khác hẳn anh em nhỉ. Ok. Đi nhặt đồ thôi, nhặt đồ thôi em ơi. K47 thay cho M60. Rồi, cầm khẩu chiếc kia là bán. Tốt rồi.